Welcome, my friends, to Conspiracy or Conspiracy. This is where we talk about all things conspiracy related, the Illuminati, deep state politics, things that go bump in the night, and including the thing that should not be that we're not allowed to talk about. And the other thing that should not be that we're not allowed to talk about. Today is May 12th, 2021, Wednesday. We have to do this from the backup channel because we ran afoul of YouTube, and so we're gonna look into how we won't run afoul of YouTube in the future, because it is their platform. But also, thank you for the platform, YouTube. But also, fuck you, YouTube. I think is how I feel. So the main channel is currently under a community guideline strike, but we're just gonna dive into some stuff here on the Conspiracy Channel. Joining me is my good friends, starting with Culture Casino. Welcome, my friend.
Hail, everybody, and welcome. I am wearing my Star Wars hat tonight from the original trilogy, Star Wars, before there was the Disney fallout. I want to say thank you, Wes, for having me this evening, and we have all of my great friends here this evening. Since we are not on a Whatever Wednesday, and we are on a Conspiracy or Conspiracy, I just want to bring up the fact that tonight's appearance is sponsored by Mad Mardigan's Adult Magic Shop. You will enjoy this. It's going to be great. Lots of great toys over there for adults at Mad Mardigan's Adult Shop, Magic Shop.
Wow. It's impressive. Very good. Yeah. Well, it's good to have that. People should indulge in adult fun every once in a while. I think we had a stolen erection last year.
Yeah, and this speaks to that kind of, sort of.
Gotcha.
In a weird way.
Yeah. And also joining me is my good friend LGG Pixels. Welcome, my friend.
What's going on, guys? How's it going, everybody? Hello, chat. Greetings.
Absolutely. And also my good friend Captain Trek.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Captain.
Captain
So we're talking about erections, huh?
Possibly. We're talking about the thing we can't talk about and the other thing we can't talk about. So let's say hello to our good friends in the chat real fast here.
Absolutely.
Yes. Hail RR. Welcome, my friend. RR says, regarding the main channel community guideline strike, what a crock of shit. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yep. They're treating you like Cool Hand Luke, putting you in the box, trying to break your spirit. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. Hail Floyd Looney, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. No, you didn't miss us. We're right here. We're in a different channel, but we're here. Hail to Helium29, welcome, my friend. Helium29 is on the road to 200 subs. Make sure that you give Helium29 a look and a sub, and help him out. Help him get over that 200 sub hump. Hail Lasso of Truth, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Hail Yvette. Yvette says, good morning, everyone.
Hello, Yvette.
Hi, Yvette. All right. Rocking out to the theme song. Hello, Tina Bojan. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Glad you're here. Parrot Head, I am the Lord of the Waterfowl. Hail Parrot Head. Welcome, my friend. Howdy, Keck. Parrothead says, Pickles, you should start the next Jep Nerdy minus 500 points.
No, that would be helpful.
Usually a guarantee. Happens already.
Okay. Well, I'll take the thing we cannot talk about for $500.
There's a lot of those.
Okay. Well, there's two big ones. One of them is pertaining to an event that occurred, or the primary event occurred on November 3rd of 2020. Something happened. So there were some anomalies. Just think of it as a bingo parlor. And all of a sudden, everybody stopped. And new bingo cards appeared, and we had new winners in the morning.
I think that Time Magazine did a feature article.
They did something about fortifying the bingo.
Yeah. The bread didn't have enough vitamins in it, and they fortified it.
They did, yeah. Lots of yeast.
Well, see,
Gotta give it more yeast.
The thing about bingo, right? If you just add a whole bunch of the same numbers in the turbine, couldn't hurt, right? Can't hurt. You have all the same.
It's
out of nowhere.
It's happened. I mean, it has happened where sometimes the ping pong balls, like there's some ping pong balls that have numbers that can be misinterpreted. Instead, like 18 could be 81.
6
right?
and 9. It just depends how you hold it, right?
Yeah. I think that happens from time to time. 16 and 19, right? Or 16 can be 91, right? And so there's a lot of ways you can look at things. I think. Am I wrong? I don't feel
well,
like
I think there's one way you can look at it, and I think that math doesn't lie, and it's definitely not racist, regardless of what they say.
Are you sure?
And, well, I mean, I'm, according to YouTube, who knows?
Well, I think when you pull the number out, you're not supposed to put the number back in the pile, right? No,
sure.
Or you're not supposed to continue drawing numbers until you get the result that you want.
Something like that.
Yeah. Or you're not supposed to pass out bingo cards with maybe the center already stamped. And only the center and none of the other numbers, but somehow you get a bingo that way. It's like, hey, how'd you get a bingo when only one of the numbers is filled out? And none of the other numbers are filled out. It's like, what if, what is the dog catcher supposed to do that they're not getting their bingo card? Or the community, or the city council person, or the local assembly or state legislator, their spot on the bingo card isn't filled out, but oddly enough, one person's spot on the bingo card is filled out, and there's a bunch of them, and all of the signatures are the same, allegedly, supposedly. And even further, some of the bingo players, they're dead. How are they playing bingo if they're not alive?
Oh, and don't forget, some people were getting extra bingo cards.
Yes, they were.
Well, it helps to check to see if somebody's sitting at the chair. I mean, like if you have a bingo that wins, you got to make sure someone's actually playing that card, right?
Oh,
to help. Maybe it'll help also that if the person who won, double check to make sure they didn't Xerox copy that winning ticket a whole bunch of times.
Like if there was a watermark,
something, serialized.
Oh yeah. So each bingo card would have its own serial number, and you would be able to track it that way. Yeah. But also, just to going back to what you were saying, somebody that wants to play bingo, maybe they have something on there that says who they are. So it's like, you're Joe Smith. You already signed up to play bingo in our bingo hall. And, here's your name on the list, Joe Smith. Yeah, exactly. Identification. That's what I was going for.
Identify who's, that's a great idea. You think these are the things they would thought of like day one.
Yeah.
This makes sense. This makes sense. They did that with other things. What do they call those things? Driver's licenses.
Yeah, and they do.
It worked well, right? I mean, you don't see people driving with other people's driver's licenses, do you? Well, not as much. Maybe you slightly. There's always that room for error, but it's not like an everyday thing. We're definitely not talking about hundreds of thousands of drivers with the wrong ID card like every day or something like that, right?
Definitely.
Now you got people driving with other people's cars, but that's a different story.
Somebody rode off with my bike. I'm not happy about that.
Are you serious?
No, he's not kidding. Yeah, there's somebody borrowed his source of fun travel.
Yeah, they borrowed it without permission and didn't give it back. Kind of like the current executive office holder borrowed the event that happened last year without asking or returning it without permission.
I look beyond those thoughts. I mean, there was a lot of borrowing going on prior to that event. Even, I mean, you have to think about the fact that, people were walking into Walmarts and walking out with stuff in large groups. You had people, setting fires.
Mm-hmm.
And doing a
Campfires.
lot of,
Campfires.
yeah. They were setting campfires in buildings.
Mhm.
That happened to burn them down. But obviously, I mean, their protest, of burning a campfire in a building, just it went awry. It was definitely not, the ultimate decision making process. Of those people. I mean, it was clearly an accident, which is why they're, not being federally charged with, in some cases, I guess there were federal buildings that were compromised and some state buildings the same way.
Yeah.
If only we had an executive office holder that was doing something about that.
No, they're fine with it. I mean, you had a kind of a shadowy figure guy who was backing a lot of really, interesting folks for political legal positions that would dictate what would happen to people who participate in things like that.
Yes, indeed. Was this one of those guys that was part of a persecuted group in pre-World War II Germany, but he aided and abetted the bad guys from pre-World War II Germany?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And and interestingly enough, it's got quite a bit of influence right now. He amassed a large amount of wealth through, dubious means, to say the least. Not only that, I mean, he created this concept of an online university. He was the first person to get an accredited online university up and running. So
Interesting.
And expand it, obviously. And then, every touchstone business related to, any crisis of note in the last 20 years, ultimately he benefits from, because all of the industries that he is involved in financially directly benefit from those crises. It's kind of interesting.
So Tehillim 29 says, don't forget about the Cornholio sickness travel ticket they want people to have. So yes, that's also an issue. So if you're going to play bingo, you're not required to be able to show that thing that tells people who you are and proves your identity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to travel, they're going to require you to show something that not only says who you are, but that you've had your
Tagged.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Tagged like an animal.
Yeah, you can't actually. This is something that you can't actually do. Because under federal law, it's illegal. And under many state laws, and now and in the near future, it will be illegal. In fact, there are states that ban the whole concept, which means that because of full faith and credit, there will be no requirement for those people to do that because of the state in which they make their home. So there's a lot of problems with trying to legally mandate that, and the federal government can't. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. Private industry will have to deal with some legal consequences if they pursue that. And of course, one of the people that are behind that particular plan has the initials. We were referring to him before, but he has the initials that of like Gulfstream, right? Gulfstream. The private planes you can buy, Gulfstream.
Right.
Yeah.
Buick GS.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you did well. Yeah. Gulfstream. I think that's my new nickname for him.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Call him Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge works. I think. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how that would be enforceable. Here's a scary thing. Here's what I have difficulty with. I have difficulty with. Darn it! I just lost my train of thought because I went into the private chat.
So
Right.
about that.
Yeah, but no, it's like, you know, we would never reside in a nation where they asked for your papers, right? Because we've heard about that in history. Those of us who are old enough to have like had like actual history class, like or like taught history and or picked up any book written prior to 1999 that had history in it. We would have learned those things and why they were bad, and you know, we would have learned that the concept of a national police force was also bad. There are a lot of really interesting things that we learned from history, because a very wise person said that you know, failure to learn from history means that you're doomed to repeat it. Of course, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but you know, it is you know, there is no way. There's no way we would be led into that, not by, you know, an executive office holder of any kind, and or any cohorts, and or any folks that may have possibly influenced anything financially. I mean, we wouldn't be in that position, right?
Yep. Oh, I
Well,
found
I-
my thought. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I can
Okay.
wait.
So yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. You know, the troubles me the most is that you know, we're still thinking that there's a veneer of rule of law over all of this. You know, thinking about HIPAA with respect to the privacy of your medical records, and having seen the national bingo that happened last year, and the muzzling that's occurred around that topic, kind of makes it seem like all bets are off. You know, it seems like we're heading from de facto tyranny into, you know, where you specifically have to be targeted, to de jure tyranny, where you're targeted to be in the club, and if you ain't in the club, well, then, you know, you're just completely effed.
Sheeple.
Exactly.
Well, didn't you hear that there are no and of course the word just went outside, amendments that are absolute? I think I just heard that someone mentioned.
Actually wrong. See, and that's an interesting statement, because the only way to overcome an amendment it was with an additional amendment. We learned this with prohibition. You have to create a something to set it aside, which would require 2/3 of the states to agree. And so, yes, there is absolute. And you know, and it requires, again, something that functions within the rule of law. And when you abandon those concepts of the rule of law, then every other law that's written among, you know, in support of those concepts, essentially is out the window. Which means, guess what? Lawlessness will ensue in a way that I don't think a lot of people would be prepared for.
Mm-mm.
I think it would. I think it would be.
I gotta say, the prohibition set some very dangerous precedents.
It did.
Being able to override an amendment by another amendment is the most dangerous thing ever. Like, I'd rather have, if I had two options, one is you can override an amendment with another amendment, or do something to the original amendment. I'd rather have do something to the original amendment. That way you don't have the spaghetti in and out. We're saying one thing and then saying something else later, and then you keep track of it all.
Well, that's how you do it in contracts, though. You have to.
You have to have, exactly.
You call them addenda or addendums. You know, you just that's how you have to do it. You have to specifically cross out whatever the other thing is and have that verbiage in your amendment or your addendum.
Yeah, the legalese of an amendment is essentially an addendum. Wes is 100% on target there. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, that's that. But again, this is
scary,
legal language, and but most people don't understand it. They don't deal with contracts, contract law, or anything that's associated with it. Most people are not lawyers or juris doctorates. They don't have a background. They try to pretend like they are. You have a lot of Twitter lawyers out there, and other places
YouTube lawyers.
Instagram lawyers, and then you have actual lawyers like Rakita Law and people like that who actually freaking understand and win cases. And half Asian lawyer that works for the guy that gets regularly banned on YouTube, Mr. Crowder. He's pretty smart dude. And then you have the people that work for our friend over at Project Veritas, who is kicking everybody's ass right now in court. So anyway, so there we are. But but here's the thing: it takes 2/3 of the states, I believe, to
And
pass.
and something else, right? Is it 2/3 of the state
If the
majority, or
if the states do it, it's 3/4 of the states. They have to get together and do a convention.
Yeah, but if it's passed in Congress,
then it's different.
Yeah.
But it has to pass in Congress then more than 51. Like it's some outrageously high numbers.
Yeah.
I thought that was 2/3 in Congress. That was a little different there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's been a while since I remember my political science.
And RR is not wrong. I mean, there is a group of people that believe that the Constitution's a living document, which is a whole pile of horseshit.
Yeah.
We can craft laws within the bounds of the Constitution that will deal with the passage of time. The wisdom in the Constitution is good for all times, with the exception, obviously, of some of the civil rights stuff, which we had not fully fleshed out at that point in time in our history. So a lot of people misunderstand, and Penn and Teller help them understand the idea of the Second Amendment, right? And there are many case rulings that help people understand the First Amendment. The First Amendment is the most important amendment until it's compromised, and then the Second Amendment becomes the most important amendment.
Yes.
And again, our founding fathers, allowed for the fact that there could be a point in time at which tyranny would rear its ugly head, and we'd have to set aside some things. Absolutely.
Isn't that the reason for the Second Amendment?
It is.
Wasn't like that one of the most important things for because they said in 20, and I think maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they put the time limit on like 20 years. Yeah. That they said that you guys better watch out for us in 20 years.
Yeah.
That the government that you originally signed might corrupt within that amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's been what? How many decades later?
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson didn't expect it to last very long. Yeah, I think it was
regulation. This is the world's greatest experiment, right? And it's been very successful up until recently. It took about 28 years for it to start to become more corrupted, which probably started in the late 60s. Right, maybe early 70s, where it's found some foothold. Then we had a swing back to something more acceptable, but from sometime in the late 80s onward, we started to see some failures. Yeah, 2 protects 1, 100%. 2/3 of Congress. Yeah, 2/3 in Congress. That's what I thought it was.
So yeah, it's either 2/3 of the Congress or 2/3 of the states to do a convention, but in both cases, it has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states.
Yeah.
3/4, yeah. And here's the thing. You have 26 states right now that are looking at the rest of the country going, fuck you.
Yep.
That's a lot of states to say fuck you.
Yes. But the problem I have is that, and I've seen this happen before, at least I believe I've seen this happen, it's my opinion, that I've seen people rally over a virtue signal cause, and what you thought was never going to happen ended up happening. I'm afraid that might end up happening again in this situation.
LDG, you're not wrong, but they have right now. You have states just nullifying anything the federal government can do at the state level because they have the power. States' rights was one of the most important things. It's one of the reasons why the original Constitution couldn't be passed without the Bill of Rights because of states' rights. And so states' rights is key, as you know, my friend.
Yeah,
and
so it wasn't for the sorry, go ahead.
The 10th. No, the 10th is key.
If it wasn't for the 10th, we'd be screwed right now. Absolutely. I do remember that bit.
Yeah. And so I always tell people, I'm like, look, the states can hold up a middle finger to all this shit because they're still the full faith and credit. So full faith and credit. This is how they circumvented some things that some people on the extreme right didn't want, right? Well, the 10th Amendment also allows for the fact that they can't circumvent some of the rights from the states, and they have to accept them. Like a ban on, this concept of this, you have to have these papers bullshit. So there you are.
But I mean, they have, okay. So let me tell you a story that pissed me off. I was at a movie theater and I had my Fourth Amendment rights violated at a movie theater of all places. Went to go see Pineapple Express. Do you guys remember that movie?
I remember it. I didn't see it.
Do you guys,
Seth Rogen?
You guys know what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
It was basically a getting high movie. Okay?
Weed. Yeah.
They were taking our cell phones from us because they had the strangest idea that they could stop piracy if they stopped having people walk into a theater with their cell phones on. Now, please note, guys, remember, Pineapple Express came out when cell phones were still flip. So the odds of somebody having enough drive space or anything to even record a full movie was like nil and zil. It wasn't like today where you just everybody can record like 5 movies on a single phone.
But the quality back then was also 3DP.
Horrible. Yeah, absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And they had a police officer
3GP
frisking us for cell phones at a movie theater.
Can't do that.
And I'm like, no, they did. And I went up to them. I spoke up in front of everyone. I said, this is a violation of our Fourth Amendment rights. Are you searching us for knives, weapons, bombs? No, you're searching us for cell phones. This is against the law. You know what the lady said to me? You can watch the movie or you can leave. I said, listen, lady, half the people in this line right now, and this was at a movie theater where this movie was pretty popular. So at the theater that I was at, the line to get in was already wrapped around the building. Okay, we already had a long line wrapped around. I looked at her dead in the face. I said, half the people in this line, more than half of the people in this line are high off drugs right now. And you're searching people for fucking cell phones? Are you kidding me? Straight up to the cop even giggled for a second. I said, this is ridiculous. Like, whatever. So they were frisking people for their cell phones.
I would have said I don't submit to an illegal search.
I wanted to, but I was with a group of people who wanted to see the movie, and it was a really good movie.
No. Wait. Unless there's a stipulation somewhere on the ticket that you purchased to see the film, they didn't have that right at the time. I would have flipped the ticket over and says, show me on here on this thing you sold me that I have to submit to an illegal search. Show me it right here. This is your opportunity. You should have been hanging out with me because I'd have friggin' flipped the shit on him.
I would have loved to. And I did. So what I did is when it was my turn to get up to the line, I exaggerated. I literally said, flip up go ahead, search me. And then when I walked into the movie theater, I looked at everybody sitting down. I said, don't worry, folks. You don't know if I have a knife. You don't know if I have a gun or a bomb, but you do know I don't have my cell phone on me. And I sat down at my chair, which I'm surprised they didn't kick me out for even saying that. I'm surprised I'm dead honest. I'm surprised they didn't kick me out for saying that. But I said it out. Everybody was cracking their ass up, and we ended up watching it. We had a good time.
I'm telling you right now, if there wasn't some specific clause that allowed for them to force you into an illegal search, if you'd have been hanging with me, I'd have been like, I'm sorry, you will not violate my civil rights. And if you do, I will be down here with my lawyer tomorrow to take about, I don't know, $400,000 or $500,000 out of your pocket. Does that sound like fun? See, I don't mess around because I'll spend $50,000-$60,000 because I'm that fucking stupid to prove a point.
I would love to have said that. I would have loved to have said that.
But see, here's the thing: most people don't speak up, and that's the problem because we are law abiding. Well, guess what? Sometimes law abiding needs standing up to the very rights that make you law abiding, and nobody's prepared to do that nowadays because you've been subjected to a form of treatment that distances you from those concepts. It's like, you're being a rabble rouser. No,
Yep.
I'm being a citizen of the United States. It's the most complex citizenship you can have. It's why one of the reasons why we try to control immigration in this country, because this and the people that come here understand that this is a limited opportunity. This is not an easy form of citizenship. This shit you got to work for every single fucking day, and people stop doing it.
Yep.
Anyway, there you are. I'm on my soapbox a lot tonight.
That's good. That was I love it. Love listening.
What pisses me off is that there isn't a not both sides are looking towards the same goal. That's the problem. So that's why when I said what I said, I thought it was enough that I said, you're breaking my Fourth Amendment rights here. This is a violation of my 10 rights here. What's going on? And I got the answer from the manager of the thing. It's our terms and conditions. If you don't want to get searched, that's okay, but you must leave. So
No.
It's not like both sides are saying, okay, we're going to agree that.
Do you have the ticket to the film still? Do you still have that ticket stub?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, I could make you so much money.
Really?
Dude, they violated your rights. You don't understand. There are so many people out there that there are many lawyers that'd be like, just that's their wet dream case. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. And there are good lawyers. I know it's hard to believe. I know most the best lawyers, the one at the bottom of the sea. But there are good lawyers out there. You will find them. There are people who truly believe in the law and the rule of law. And and I got
witnesses.
Hey, well, fine, but here's the problem. So okay, when you purchase a ticket to an event, you essentially are ascribing to a contract, whether or not you're aware of it or not. So if you elect to purchase a ticket to the Super Bowl, you're subject technically to the terms and conditions of the ticket. The problem is it's not presented to you in that way. Many times those cases are lost by professional sports teams, theaters, and other things like that because you are not subject to a contract. You never signed it. All you provided was consideration, which is one part of a contract. Consideration means a monetary exchange. Or it could be as little as 1 penny, or it could be a $200 ticket to see U2. It doesn't matter. You provided consideration. So they think, and this is the same thing that all the theme parks operate under.
Consideration doesn't have to be money. It can be your grandpa's watch, anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. Money's the most common. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Let's talk about commonality. Commonality is fiduciary is a fiduciary exchange. So it could be anything. But under the law right now, the commonality is currency of some form or fashion, usually U.S. dollars, at least in this country. Yeah. So, but Wes is 100% right, and thank you for that. But I got derailed. But the whole idea is when you go to a theme park, you go to a baseball game, if you get hit in the head with a baseball, there's an indemnity clause on that ticket, but it doesn't hold water because you didn't sign jack shit. Right? So so they usually end up paying a settlement. You know why? Because they don't have an out. They try to protect themselves, hold that up, get an attorney to try to hold it up. But at the end of the day, it's not absolute. It's not concrete. It's fairly flimsy, and that's why I ask. I mean, it's how far do you want to go financially against something like that? When you have an attorney walk up to another attorney and say, "This holds no water, and these are the 18 reasons why, and we will see you in court to the tune of $18 million or some shit," they're gonna back the fuck down and give you 50 grand, 60 grand to get you to go the hell away. So, and that's, that's the thing though. And those are the things that have to be touted. And so when somebody says, I will give you, $100,000 if you sign this NDA that we signed, we gave you $100,000 because they don't want everybody else to go after them. Right. That the people with the most fortitude say, I'm not signing an NDA. You either do the right thing or you don't. I may or may not talk about this. You pick. So it just depends on what your fortitude level. If you're satisfied with a monetary gain, so be it. You and I have no qualms. But it's only people with fortitude that stand up for their rights. That again, you were right. You were on the right path. I'm not lecturing you, by the way, LDG. I love you, man. Pickles. But what I'm saying is there are certain times. that you and I and Wes and Captain Trek here are going to have to say, fuck you. No, this is bullshit. And I will fight you. And I'll use every last dollar that I have at my disposal to do so.
Exactly.
Not only that, I'm going to go crowdfund the shit out of this. You have no idea the what I can pull. I know people who have 1 million subs on YouTube that will help me fuck your shit up. Is that what you want? Because I'll do it. So yeah.
Well, I got this project called Prometheus. I could use 1 million people.
Brother. I know. I love you, man. I love it. But you know where I'm coming from is we are it. We're it. The people out here in Wes's chat. The fact that we have to talk in circles to talk about things here on this platform, right? It is the very reason why I appreciate Wes doing this tonight. Right, we're on the alternate channel because for some reason they think Wes is a bad guy, right? And because he tells the truth, yeah, and but that's not the truth. So we have us. That's why I'm like I end every video, every live stream that I do with the simple things, the 4 simple things, which is of course support independent creators. They're everything we have, man. You, my friend, are everything we have. Everything you're trying to do. And if people don't know, you should probably talk more about what you do with Hercules, with Prometheus, with everything you're trying to do. People need to know what LGD is trying to do. Because I respect you. I know a lot of people do, man.
It's an uphill battle, but I'm trying, and you know what it is. We're dealing with that shit too every day. And what's funny because when you talked about that ticket, it is like a contract, and we got these. I can't tell you how many people, me included, that have to bow down to these terms and fucking conditions.
The POS and service.
Last time I checked, it's just like capitalism in America. They say it's capitalism, but it's not real capitalism. It's terms and conditions, but it's not real terms and conditions. Terms and conditions are not terms and conditions when you give it to you as an ultimatum. It is an ultimatum. Mm-hmm. Okay, terms and conditions is something you actually both agree on. But when you have YouTube channels right now, how many channels, how many people, how many viewers click I agree and you do not agree?
That's why I like paper.
Yeah,
like 90% of us.
I know, 90%.
Well, and see, that's the thing is they get you used to. This is a pattern. This again, if you want to create a behavioral pattern, you do it over and over and over again. Right. And so every time that there's a revision, it's a change. And by the time you're through 1,000 changes, you have no idea what the document is anymore because you're like, oh, I've already been through this. Oh, I've already been through this. And yet there could have been a change along the way you're not aware of. Right. So you can actually end up in court when you do that in contractual exchanges, where on a regular basis you are partnered with somebody and you have to highlight the changes that were made from the previous agreement, or in many states in the United States, you could be subjected to scrutiny under the law because you didn't highlight the changes, you didn't make the other party aware that the agreement differentiates itself from the previous agreement in these ways. That's what they're looking for. And it's not every...
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I get what you're saying, but what pisses me off is when in the terms of agreement, it says at our discretion, subject to change without notice.
Okay. And there you are. Okay. So there's a form of legalese. And again, I am not a lawyer, guys. I'm not a lawyer, but there is a form of reasonable expectation in the law. Again, these are broad concepts. So with the right attorney, right, You would have an argument. They could make an argument for or against something like that. But again, sometimes it varies with the state. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, look, our laws that are federal laws are one thing. We have state laws, which are something else. You have states that have legalized marijuana. The federal government says it's illegal, but they don't do jack shit about the legalized marijuana states. You know why? 10th Amendment. So you have some. It wouldn't make any sense. I mean, you're going to go into state and do something, and you're going to go after somebody for a federal. You're going to get shot down across the rest of the country because the state said X, Y, Z. So you can't. This is the problem that Lincoln faced, was the alienation of the Union. Right now, we have the modern day version of that. Nobody's talking about it, but we have the alienation of the Union. So. Anyway, I'm talking in really broad concepts, and I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I
find it fascinating, especially the fact that what cracks me up is the fact that, how do I say this? Because it's going to come out very blankety. There shouldn't be any state laws when it comes to the internet.
Well,
there's no way of regulating the internet when you're talking about a server that's in a different country. Or it's all imaginary. It's not even real. Like,
well, okay, you and I both understand. You don't. There is no physical. There isn't a physical quote unquote internet. You can manage the infrastructure that allows the facilitation of an internet.
That's it, though.
Right? No,
that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, that's all you can do. So when you try to tax transactions over a non-physical space, it isn't possible. So
it's possible, but there are ways around it. There are loopholes within loopholes that the government can't touch. No, and I try explaining this to people. The government thinks they can regulate the internet. It's an effing joke.
Or
it's straight up.
Or cryptocurrency.
Oh, of course.
Here's the thing. You will set your economy outside of the entire rest of the world if you try to regulate cryptocurrency. Even under a one world government, you will still have an exchange of goods. Do you know why? Because the barter system would still be in place. This is the thing.
Yep.
A commodity is worth X at all times to whoever was trying to consume it. It never changes. No matter what anybody says, the entire global economy runs on petrochemical. We have a petrochemical economy. It's an oil-based economy. It hasn't changed for 100 years, and it can't, because industrialization requires energy. Energy right now in its least expensive form is provided by a petrochemical process, a combustion process that's slowly being replaced, but not quickly enough, and it's going to take another 5 or 6 generations. But you still need petroleum-based products to do every other thing in the entire world, including agriculture, and make plastics. And I mean, oil is the basis of the economic engine, and it will be for a substantial period of time until we can do
electromagnetic,
manipulation of atoms. Until we can do atom level control, right? Which is 2 centuries away, 150 years away. It depends on who you talk to. So atom level construction is hard, right? Or else, you know what? Everything would be made of fucking nanotubes right now.
Yeah.
So
everything would be nanofiber.
Huh. Yeah, exactly.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah. I mean, we would have space elevators. If we could do this now, we would have space elevators. We wouldn't have to burn shitloads of rocket fuel to put something in orbit. We would just fucking elevate that shit up there. Wow. Yeah, go ahead.
Now let me throw this at you there, because I think I think the transition has already begun. I wouldn't agree with 2 centuries. I think it might, the way technology is tripling. I think it's a little bit before 2 centuries, maybe.
No. Okay, but I love you. I love you. Let me interrupt. I'm going to say this. The reason I don't agree with you is because every time you come across a stagnant process, which is authoritarianism or anything like that, and or the rampant control of monopolies, which we also have with all these oligarchs, you have the complete stop of progress. The only exception right now to that is Elon Musk. Everybody else wants the status quo for fucking ever.
Mhm.
Elon Musk is like, I'm going to fucking Mars and people are going to die, But he's the only guy out there. Everybody else
I'd say one more exception, and this is where I think it's changing to. I think it's changing from a gas, oil, chemical to information. And Google's proving this.
Well,
it's going to be who controls information, who gets their information.
Wait, I just did released a video today. It's a 20-minute, 9-second video, which is the longest motherfucker I think I put out there, right? on data, right? Data-driven decision making, right? And I boil it down to fucking simple shit because I don't want to bore. I'm going to bore the shit out of everybody anyway because I don't care. But it's really dense. Right? Because most people are like, I don't really care. But for me, it's important because right now data drives everything when it comes to media conglomerates, et cetera, especially corporations like studios and megacorps that are involved in the entertainment industry. Everything's data driven. And most people, their eyes glaze over because they don't want to know any of that shit. But you're not wrong. Data is incredibly important. But the problem is now 80% of data that you're getting is misinformation. It's not accurate. It has intentional holes in it. So
thank you.
Compromised. That's a compromised
information is like crack. The purer it is, and we're getting. I think we're getting there though. I think it's getting it. Yeah. But a lot of that is coming from corporation. A lot of that's coming from not us.
I would like
from them.
Go ahead, Wes. I'm sorry.
I'd like to see YouTube's the private data they don't share with us.
Oh, dude,
the big data.
Do you realize? Okay, so I did it in the video today. I'll break it down real fast. Okay, here we go. When you sign up for a YouTube account, what do they ask you for?
First name, last name, sex.
Email address.
Right. And well, you need an email address too. But yeah, you need all those things, right? So from there, okay, I want to send
you get that from them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Gmail account.
yeah, exactly. Or whatever, any kind of email account. But okay, so the next step is you want to send a super chat. What do you got to do?
Credit card.
Got a credit card.
Yeah.
Info,
So
bank information.
If you used a nom de plume, it doesn't matter anymore. You gave them your bank information. They know who the fuck you are, and they know way more about you. Because guess what? They can do a soft hit on your credit. It will never show up, right? And now they know every fucking thing about you. They know.
And I have a feeling that's why they did that too. That was recent, right? Then did they? And I'm sorry if I'm being too loud.
No,
they recently changed it so you can do like unlimited soft hits, and they sold it to us like, oh, don't worry, it's not going to. But they did that because other companies that want more information about us can do that and not impact us. Well, it's just like the thumbs up. It's not for the channel; it's to label us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's the other thing. So again, okay. So here's the other thing most people don't understand. So when you're watching YouTube, and again, this is from the video I did today. When you're watching YouTube, how are you doing it?
Through a browser.
Well, okay, but where's the browser located?
ISP on your computer.
Yeah. Okay. So how many points of data do they get from just that information alone? They have your location.
Everything.
Yeah, they have your location.
Everything.
They have they have who you use as an ISP. They have the computer that you're using, and they know the model number. They know what OS you're on. They know everything about you. Okay, you don't do it from your computer, right? You do it from a set.
Give me a moment.
Oh, go ahead.
Give me a moment, and this is up my alley. It's the only reason I'm interrupting you.
I know, man. Go.
Because Chrome, and if you're using Chrome, that's why the very first thing when you do Chrome is you select that check mark in the settings that says Chrome allows to do whatever it wants, even if it's not running. Because Chrome is an installed program, it knows every effing thing you do on your computer, period.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of Chrome, not just your ISP, not just your internet history, not what programs you use. Every effing thing you type into your computer, a keylogger, you name it, they have the right to do it because you accepted their terms and conditions. They know everything.
Which is why you want to move to Brave. You want to move to.
I've been looking at Brave.
Okay,
I need to look more into Brave, but
okay. So here's the other thing. So here's how you escape some of that. You run a virtual machine. How many people are savvy
yes.
enough to run a VM? Not that many. Go ahead.
No. I was saying me. I run a virtual machine.
But most people
FYI,
don't.
guys, if you go to VMware, you can get virtual workstation for personal use for free.
Free.
You can get your own virtual machine for free.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. So Darius Munchausen is right. StreamYard doesn't work in Brave. So that's why you get a virtual machine. Because then you isolate your communication with StreamYard to just that event on just that machine. And if you're like me, and again, if you have a server, you can have like infinite numbers, well, as many as your server will support, virtual machines, right? And so when you're trying to go after like some scammer in India, like some of these amazing YouTubers do that you can watch those videos, they build a virtual machine. Yeah, Kit Boga is my favorite, by the way. Fucking dude, watch the shit out of that guy. Yeah, exactly. Kit Boga. Yeah, you're muted, bro. But anyway, so yeah, no, I fucking love him. And anyway, he's got like multiple VMs running at full speed all the time. So like he's got a banking VM, he's got everything. So he can like, it looks for real. It looks for real, especially to the scammer. The scammer's like, oh shit, this different IP, a different computer, different da. Yeah. It's not. It's the same fucking thing. So yeah, dude's fucking.
The problem with that is though, there's two blades. There's two blades to every sword, right? So the problem with that, as much as I love that, and there's more than one YouTuber doing that right now. Jim Browning is another one. He's awesome. Check out Jim Browning. But because of people like him, even the scammers are stepping it up another notch. Well, because they're knowing now what's going on, and even they're stepping it up.
But you can't defeat it. That's the thing. It depends. If you're willing to set up something deep enough, it's going to be really hard to suss out. So and lasso truth. So a VM, you set up a VM. A VM is essentially a computer running inside your computer. So look at it.
Matrix and a matrix, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and so on your computer, you have all your regular processes, but then inside that is a shell. Okay, we're going to get deeper into the programming language of things. That is essentially another computer. That other computer, this new computer, this virtual computer, has all of the assets of the original machine, but they're inside of a very safe environment, because it doesn't allow certain permissions, certain exchanges to happen. So you can provide it with whatever information you want. So if I run a VM on my machine, let's say I do that, and I want to be Velma Amelmahay, right? Then I have a username, Velma Amelmahay. Everything in the virtual machine is tied to that pseudonym. I can create everything, right? And then I create a separate virtual machine that is my bank, which is a fake bank. You can create fake banks all the time. There's actually software out there that like give you bank demos. You can actually put the bank demo on the virtual machine to, be a bank. And so, because the scammers have been doing that for a long time. So what these guys that suss out these scam guys do is they set up a virtual machine on their computer, and then they make phone calls not representing themselves using a virtual machine. So if they get hacked back, like somebody uses like what TeamViewer, that's the most popular one for a lot of the scammers. They use TeamViewer going in. They will try to connect to your machine using TeamViewer, but they're not connecting to the actual computer. It can't be destroyed. It's just a partition on a drive that takes processing space. And they'll connect to that, and they will lock it down. They although you can't syskey anymore, I don't think. LDG, correct me on this. The new version of Windows 10 doesn't allow you to syskey anymore, right?
I think you had to step away for a moment.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So Siski was a way of essentially creating a password that you could essentially lock somebody out of a system. And it was essentially the first version of ransomware. So if somebody could Siski your system, you'd have to pay them to get back into all your shit.
Right? Assuming they were honest, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Siski doesn't work anymore in Windows 10. I don't think you can syskey a system. And if you still can, most of the anti-scammers will put a non-syskey thing in. They'll pull the ability to do that. And syskey stands for system key, which essentially allows kernel level access to the machine. And kernel level access means machine level access. Wow, I'm explaining a lot of computer crap tonight.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. So, but that is like I said, that's a virtual machine. A virtual machine is a computer within your computer. It's like having a whole other computer. It does use all the same resources your computer does, or you can actually set parameters. So like if I had 64 gigabytes of memory in there, I could set that up I could have 8 gigabytes set aside for that, and a certain partition of disk space on my hard drive and the whole 9 yards. You can set it up under certain parameters. For as big as your system is, if you have like a whole server rack, you could set it up for, just whatever your heart's content versus, as many virtual machines as possible. In fact, most cloud-based services that you utilize, you're accessing, like Amazon Web Services is built on all virtual machines, if that makes sense. So like if you access like something on the cloud, that's a virtual machine. I hope that makes sense. I talked really fast there with a lot of information.
It was a lot of information. I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Captain Trek, you were saying?
Nothing. Just agreeing.
Gotcha. So R says that explains Brybon's cognitive dissonance. He has a virtual machine inside his virtually empty head. Yep. Well, it is what it is, but this is great because this has given us all kinds of ideas to protect ourselves in the future. I think it's pretty obvious that we're going to need protecting. I think that given the national bingo that took place with the fraudulent tickets and the fact that we can't talk. Well, I mean, okay, it's one thing to say you had a national bingo and that it was rigged, but it's another thing to say you can't talk about it. Can't
have an opinion about it.
Yeah, have an opinion about it. We're saying that it didn't happen. We don't care. We're not even saying that. We're just saying you can't talk about it. We got the person we wanted to win bingo won, and we're just gonna not allow that because I mean at least you would there would at least be lip service towards free speech. You would think there would at least be lip service towards that. And what they're saying now is sit down, shut the fuck up. And this is what we're going to tell you happened. And we're not going to allow you to talk about what you think happened or anything other than what we said happened. Because, everything was on the up and up. So shut the fuck up.
Well, and that's the problem that they have right now with several audits that have begun. There's one in Arizona. There's a couple other states that are working on one. They're
Texas.
trying. Yeah, they're trying to not. They're doing everything they can to discredit them, because if they uncover a certain level of fraud, it's going to make other states want to reinforce their voting procedures because of fortification. Man, I just said too much. Fuck.
No, you didn't. So okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. So going into the the 2020 bingo game, one side had to have, let's say, at least 75% African American bingo players. I'm sorry, no, it had to be higher than that, right? It had to be in the 80s. Anyway, one side had to have a certain percentage. And what you saw was that the percentage of bingo players that were in that category and in other categories that traditionally play bingo, on the blue team. Well, on all of those key demographics, though, there was a shift in bingo players to the red team.
Out of nowhere, magically.
And they're trying to say, that for your white bingo players that they overwhelmingly voted for the blue team, and then also they said it turns out that in some of those places there were actually more bingo players and cards than there were people
Cards
that
players.
that can play bingo.
Yeah. Oh, and the CJH, if you want to know how to do what you're talking about, let me know. I will walk you through it. It's really difficult. It costs some money. There are a lot of resources involved in what you suggested in the chat.
So Floyd Looney says soon they will just say free speech is bad people from Germany or Italy or something. I think they're already saying that, aren't they?
Yeah, they've tried to do that, right? And they label free speech as disinformation, right? And the thing is every time that their official sources are caught in a lie, they're like, well, that's being distorted. Disney just tried to run this playbook. It ain't gonna fly. I am going to spend the next 6 months taking little pot shots at the corporate structure and culture of the Walt Disney Corporation. Because to be honest with you, if I can take down that touchstone, if I can bring attention to that touchstone, it could change things. Because you're talking about a saturation of the marketplace of 60%. I know people don't understand that, but Disney is 60% of the influential marketplace as far as the mainstream goes. Despite the fact that they don't own their own distribution platform. Isn't that fucking messed up?
Wow.
And I'm seeing a shift between what freedom of speech is supposed to mean and a difference between the understanding of what freedom of speech is. And where I'm seeing it is in one simple area. People confusing freedom of speech being free to speak and what freedom of speech actually is. They're saying you're free to speak only about certain things and not the true definition of freedom of speech, which is being able to say something, freedom of consequences.
Yeah.
That's what, look up the definition of freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what freedom is. We don't have that right now.
No.
We only have it on paper.
Right. Freedom of speech, they're trying to say is, well, that it comes with consequences. No, it doesn't. They try to cite the lawyerly thing that was back in the 1800s where you couldn't yell fire in a crowded theater, except guess what? There was a case that superseded that never gets cited. It never gets cited. And cognitive dissonance is off the charts when it comes to basic civil liberties. You fucking nailed it.
It is.
And that's the thing. You are your own country. You have sovereignty. I don't think people take possession of that. Reach out, grab it, hold on to that motherfucker. It is going to support you and take care of you the rest of your life. It is the essentialism of the castle doctrine. Because guess what? Do the police are the police there to protect you?
Supposed to. That's their job.
No. They had to redefine that. When you see serve and protect on a car, that's bullshit. Motherfuckers are there to show up when your shit's been murdered or when your shit's been stolen or whatever else. And it's no fault of theirs. It has nothing to do with that. It is you as a singular entity are responsible for yourself, right? So if you act inappropriately to another, you can be held accountable. If they act inappropriately towards you, they can be held accountable. That's the whole concept. This is what the rule of law is supposed to cover. And so you are, exactly. It's marketing and not the law. Thank you, just so the red shirt. Love you, brother. But it's just, we don't live in that society. You are responsible for you. So if you have a family, now you've decided to broaden your horizons, you're responsible for those people as well. Because the police, if you're lucky, might show up while they're halfway through killing your family. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
So, yeah. Law enforcement. Yes, full stop. Which means, you know what they do? They document things and make it so you can go to court.
Paper pushers.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And I love you guys. You are smart human beings in the chat. You understand this.
Yep.
Most human beings think motherfuckers are supposed to show up and protect your ass. Nope.
Yep.
There are certain
Okay.
circumstances where you get a SWAT team, but it's usually a fucking bank robbery.
Well, or
Well, then
somebody
it's
falsely reported you. You know.
Well,
then
then it's
YouTube
perception
then.
too, because you could be the one defending yourself, but the cop shows up at the wrong second. You become the threat, and you're the one who's shot by the cop because the cop showed up when you got the upper hand. Right? Let's just say, for instance, 5 people decide to jump me, and I call the cops. And during that fight, I get a hold of someone's knife. And I'm defending myself against 5 people. And let me tell you something. In America, 5 people can kill you. Okay? And I get a hold of a knife during the fight. The cop shows up when I grab the knife trying to defend myself, and I am the one shot.
Yep.
It happens. So I agree. Absolutely everything Andy said, and I think it's completely screwed up. Another thing that pisses me off, too, is the fact that I think, and I might be crossing a line here, that a police officer shouldn't be a job to begin with. I get aggravated every time I think that a police officer is an occupation. No, your job is supposed to be protect and serve at the cost of your own life to protect the innocent. When I hear someone saying, well, the cop wants to go home to their family, then don't be a fucking cop.
Yep. I agree. That's the gig. If you can't handle the gig, do something else.
Now, that being said, I also don't blame the officer for their actions. I blame their superiors.
You know,
The cop has to do what the cop has been trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I said what I wanted to say.
Well, you know, I was just going to say, you know, I think the staffing has a lot to do with it, making sure that you have people that can handle the job. You know, it's just like, you know, getting a ferocious looking dog. You know, you get like a really mean looking pit bull, and it turns out the pit bull is a complete sweetheart and goes around licking everybody. You know, it's like, well, you weren't the right guard dog.
No, but that's fine. Look, that comes down to training, just like with human beings. And this is the same thing with firearms. I always tell people, I'm like, if you're going to get a firearm, go down and fucking learn how to use one. Know everything you can about whatever you're going to do. If it's a handgun, you need to know about it. If it's a rifle, you need to know about it. You need to know how to fire it. You need to know what the report sounds like. You need to know what a recoil is. You need to understand everything about the firearm that you're going to purchase. Not only that, you need to know the rules and laws around that. You need to take an instruction. Okay, instruction is important. You have an instructor. He will tell you how to properly do all of these things. You need to know how to clean your gun. Do you know why?
Yes.
It needs cleaning regularly.
Yep.
You need to have practice. If you are a firearms owner and you don't go practice at least every 60 days, why did you have the gun?
You're negligent. Why do you have the gun?
Yeah.
And to add to this, and I went to Geologia when you were in the middle of your spiel, so I did want to touch on this a little bit.
Sure.
That goes for anything. And for just to back up the conversation real quick, when you were talking about virtual machines, because I'm the first person when it comes to computers, the one thing I actually do know about in this world, I wanted just to clarify, because you made a great point about virtual machines, but at the same time, there was some misinformation there. I just want to clear up.
Really?
You should know how to use a virtual machine.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, shit.
You should know how to use a VPN. Okay. A virtual machine is not for those of you who heard, get a virtual machine. That's what you need to do. That is incorrect, because it's more than just a virtual machine.
Yeah.
If you use a virtual machine and you log in to Google using your account, there's no point of having a virtual machine. You've just told Google who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
You need a VPN. You need a virtual machine.
Oh, yeah.
You need separate accounts. And then on top of that, here's the stuff that cracks me up about VPNs, because VPNs are a joke. Okay. VPN stands for virtual private network.
Yeah.
VPNs are only for the person who's surfing and the person you're surfing to. The second you take those, okay, think of it like a virtual private bathroom. And this is how I love talking about VPNs. Imagine if you had a virtual bathroom and you only use this bathroom. You have your own personal bathroom, right? You have peace of mind knowing anytime you go to the bathroom, you have your own protected, segregated bathroom to use no matter where you are, right? Kind of like a virtual private network. Now, what if that company that gave you that private bathroom starts selling seats to that bathroom to anybody who spends $60 a year? Now you're sharing that bathroom with anybody who buys a VPN. The second a VPN is given publicly, it is no longer private. Who do you think buys seats on those VPNs? Netflix? All the people you're using that VPN for, all they have to do is spend $60 a year, and now they have all the recorded information they need to know if you use that VPN.
There's one small differentiation there. If they use a proxy at the point of reception.
Yes.
So Surfshark uses a proxy at every
Okay, that's
point.
good.
So no, but I'm just saying that's why I researched the shit out of them. So I always tell people, I'm like, well, no, you know what that is. I mean, you use a SOX 5 or something like that at the other end. But no, you're not wrong. There are certain companies and not private. It's not private. Internet is not. Surf is not. But I know what you're saying. There are super cheap VPNs that they know where the endpoint is, right? And there's only a handful of IPs inside that endpoint. Right, you're 100% right. Yeah,
and they know where you're coming from.
Yeah, and
but
that's
not only that, but then you have the and I'm gonna get one more step closer, and then we can talk about something else. Sorry, I get OCD about this, man, because I see people promoting VPNs, and I'm like,
I live in it. You know that. It's good, man.
Here's the kicker: if you get a VPN, guys, make sure it has a kill switch.
Yes.
A lot of people who use VPNs, the second your VPN has a small hiccup and your computer just for that split second uses your regular protocol, you're gotten. You're gotten. Okay.
So Surfshark and Virtual Private Internet both have the instant kill switch. So
yes,
if there's a hiccup, you're fucking dead. And you'll be like, God damn, my stream got killed. But then you're like, oh fuck, my stream got killed. So no, those are good. Yeah, you're fucking right, dude. I fucking love that. Good advice, man. Good advice. Fucking love that. Yeah, no, see, most people don't understand. I was there when the internet started, like for broadband. Like I did the transition from dial up to broadband. So, and I ran a knock. So all this shit was like we were figuring it out back. now you know this stuff, man.
I make the joke that I used the internet back when it was black and white. Yes, the internet used to be black and white.
It used to be black and green.
Monochrome, man.
Well, black and green, that too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we were on. You know, oh shit, I got 600
BBSs.
Baud. Really, fuck me, dude. Really? No, dude, I just upgraded 1200 baud. You were like, what the fuck? Yeah, I got 19.8. What? Yeah, most people don't even know what we're talking about. It's like, oh my god, we're talking kilobits, kids, kilobits. You were like, dude, it only took me 11 hours to download that video. What? That's fucking great.
You know, I used to think that what was it? Was it females? I used to make a joke, and I can't remember because it's been so fucking long since I've said this joke. But I've never been mad at somebody when like your mother picks up the phone because you're at like day 3 of 6 of downloading some program, and then someone screws up your internet.
So you go to a Where's site. You get halfway through a download, and he picks up the phone. You're like, motherfucker! I have 3 phone lines for a reason, bitch. What the fuck?
And then they came out. Then they came out with what was it? Continued download or continuous downloads. That way, if you were cut off, at least you can continue where you left off. But that was brand new technology. You think that was like common sense? That was brand new.
What was it? We went from what was it? It was 36 something where you actually that was the point at which you could actually pick up or resume a download.
3600 baud or 44 1.
Oh, dude, when you got to 44, you were like, "Fucking oh my god!"
And it wasn't even 44. It wasn't even 44. That's what the modem was, but that wasn't what you were actually transferring.
Remember what the phone line was doing? The phone line's like, fuck you. You know? And most of us didn't realize that the frequency of the bandwidth at the time wasn't going to carry farther. Because even if you red boxed or black boxed in, you were like, oh, I'm getting telephone speed, except telephone speed was bullshit. So it was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm crazy. I know a lot of shit. I was a bad kid for a long time. Yeah, we used to dial every number inside a bank exchange to try to figure out where that's fucked up. We were black boxing the fuck out of that. We were like, okay, I'm in the bank.
No comment. No comment. No comment.
Look, there's a username and password. Fuck yeah.
Statute of limitations is out on that, folks.
Oh, no, it's fucking 50, 40 fucking years ago. It's a fucking genius.
You get 5 years on that kind of stuff.
But dude, it was 1,000 fucking years ago. Yeah, oh, God. Dude, I knew one of the crazy. Oh, and you know what? Not going to talk about any of that. Someday we'll talk about the wild and crazy days of Culture Casino. But no, anyway.
There are things I can't even say in Culture Casino.
I know. I live in a weird place. I live in a weird place.
Your 100,000 sub special, we'll talk about it. And then you wipe the live stream.
Subs, I will tell you how to fucking do this. You can still do it. That's the other thing. Most people don't know exactly how hackable every fucking thing is in the whole world. Yep. It's just like, I can.
No, here it is. Remember when the internet was new, back when only nerds actually used it? When it started, that's right. Only the cool people used the internet back then. But back when a certain something was
cool, we were not.
Well, when I say cool, I mean like us. Yeah, exactly. Back when something else was currency in chat rooms, but that's okay. Anyway, what was I going to say? I totally lost track of what I was going to say. Shit. Yeah, that totally just escaped my brain.
Oh, sorry, bro. No, it's all right. We did. Yeah, no, War Games days. Yeah, Cavatanio. Yeah, we lived in some
Lawnmower Man
times. Yeah. God,
that's what it was.
Film. Oh my God.
The things they talked about. That they were like the reason why, because remember back in the day, nobody wanted the internet. The companies didn't want to use the internet. It was like a virus. They were saying it's unsecure and viruses. Yeah. The nerds. Yeah, exactly. Nerd community or people who like to play Doom on BBSs. All those things that they said the internet was the reason why banks didn't have internet. Remember, you used to call why don't you have a website? Well, we don't touch websites. Too dangerous. Dude, all those things that they talked about back then actually were more secure back then than it is now. You know what I mean?
Paid attention. Do you realize how many motherfuckers were looking at that shit all the time? It was crazy. And when you found a bank that had an open line, you were like, fuck yeah. I'm just saying back then. People I know, not me. I never participated in anything like that.
But it's amazing how the corporate side of things have made those things disappear. Being hacked, viruses. Those are 10 times worse today than they were 20 years ago.
Most people don't even understand. Microsoft this is just a few months old now. I covered it. That shit got buried. Nobody watched the video. I think I got fucking nuked on that one. But Microsoft got their ass reamed, like at a server level. So anything that was running anything Microsoft server level, like even into the cloud shit that they run in Azure, they got face raped I just said a bad word. Face graped in not the best place in the universe. I mean, it was bad news, and it happened for months on end.
You're talking about deep web? You're talking about deep web had hacked?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I did hear about a couple things.
They got ass-ended with it was incredible, and they don't even realize the extent to which anybody that was running that current
version, that build, gotcha.
They got Oh,
Yeah.
they don't even know.
No, let me tell you something right now. One of the things I loved about working for companies like that, and I used to have, well, I still have, but when I had a few of them, when we had cyber attacks,
I love
and
that.
when we get a cyber attack, guys, it's like a hurricane in Florida.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're literally staring. I'm sitting here staring at a screen,
You're watching,
looking at the storm.
yeah,
Boom, 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 boom. I'm looking at a firewall,
Yeah.
and I have to catch anything that makes it through the firewall.
yeah.
And I'm looking at all their servers, anything that makes it through, and I have seconds
Yeah, it's not long.
to react. Seconds to react. Okay. Now, a lot of the stuff you have is like automatic blockers, and you have some things to help you and tools, but you have to keep an eye on it, because if son of a bitch actually finds to get away through your firewall, the client that you're protecting is completely vulnerable, and you either have to shut down I've had to shut down servers on a dime.
Pushback.
Not very little, because I know what I'm doing and I've protected these people, but there have been times where I've had to shut down servers completely because of a cyber attack that's happening, and it comes from everywhere. It is like you are in the eye and the storm is just closing in around you.
And it happens. And you're not wrong. It's a weird place. Like, and then you would actually pull down like whole like Class A's. You'd pull down a Class A IP to like just isolate something. I watched it happen, right? And so this happens, by the way, at an internet level. So, oh God, yeah, you're right. We're talking like miles above most people, but yeah. So anyway, sorry guys.
Yeah, we kind of took it back there, man. That was a good conversation, though.
Dude, I'm totally fascinated by it. These are topics that I never really get to hear about. Or
it's just like so okay. So like back in the old days, right? You could isolate like circumstances by just pulling down a certain like address group, right? Because like everything's attached to the internet's built on a bunch of addresses, right? But like if your local post office was getting bombed, you would just take it out of circulation, right? You just say, okay, this post office, we're going to take it out for a while. And that would create a circumstance where all the people that were attached to that post office would be like, what the fuck?
Yep.
But it would
they get disconnected.
And everybody else, right? And so you could do that in real time. So like knock centers back in the day, where you would be able to go like, oh shit, and then you would hit that Class A, you'd pull it down, and then they would wander off because nothing was happening. It was not a problem. So you put that back in service, but during the meantime, you would run a batch process that would it would redirect everybody so that when they tried to go back in, they would go somewhere else. So, yeah. And so that was some of that early like defense mechanism that was in place, right? That was way back in the dial-up days. When we got to broadband, we needed hardware solutions for that would like intelligently reroute the like circumstances like that, so that you wouldn't actually have to like do that. Like, and then occasionally you'd have like a hardware level event where you'd have to like replace the hardware. In the dial-up days, you'd have to physically go to a location, pull a core, and put it back in. You'd have to slam a core in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m., right? And then like hand like
Oh my God.
You'd have to have you'd have to hand enter if you didn't already have a table established. You'd have to hand enter a table to redistribute all the IPs. But this is going way back. So this is like when I was 1,000 years old. So well, when I was young. Now I'm 1,000. When I was young, this is shit that happened.
So you don't look a day over 500.
No, I know, but it's just So now it's different because it can all be managed at a
remote level.
hardware level. Yeah, and so they handle most of that shit. But when it gets inside the hardware level, that's when you have a problem because they're already inside. They're already inside. Yeah. They're attacking from inside the net from a server. And this is the problem with a lot of cloud services is they leave themselves open to the kinds of attacks, especially if they're all operating on the same
ports or
yeah, exactly. Well, the same like 0 day gets thrown out there a lot, but there are 0 days out there, man, that will fuck your shit up, and it doesn't, like, after the hardware is like there. I mean, it's like you can't do anything about it because it's inside. It's already inside.
It
So
bypasses everything. No
Yeah,
authentication needed.
No,
CPU level viruses that just tell your computer what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And
some of them, I mean, there's a couple of them they don't even have fixes for.
No. There's inside.
What's this 0 day stuff? I don't know anything about that. Can you just give me the Clips Notes so I understand?
Go ahead, LDG.
Basically, 0 day is how do I put this here? Software vulnerable issues that just make a person like me days living fucking hell.
Well, yeah, they exist from the moment that the thing is created, right?
Yes.
Now, is this like what China's doing?
This way. When a virus is created, right? In order to have an antivirus, you got to have the virus.
Yeah.
So the time between the virus gets sent out and the virus gets caught and there's an antivirus, it's like the zero patient, right? You always want the first patient that got infected. So the first day the virus is let out till the day we have an antivirus for it is basically 0 day.
So
gotcha.
when
new one.
when you've incorporated JavaScript into something that's part of an active process in an operating system, when you release it, right? There is already an existing exploit for that. That's 0 day. So it means that
the vulnerability have to be identified.
Yeah.
And it has to be resolved.
It already exists.
And mitigated.
The very first day, or even before something's released, there's already an exploit in place for it.
So it's like Rogue One, the Death Star vent.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Actually, that's a good way to explain it. So, like the exhaust
I guess that would be
on the Death Star is a 0 day exploit. But
like we need to put like a screen over that.
Well, or whatever you need to, or create a bend. Like a U-bend or something, something. But it's exactly that. It is a 0 day is in place beforehand, and the hackers already know about it. Like, I've already seen what you're building. I already know how to defeat it. So 0 day. Or it's actually, this is the other thing. Because of corporate espionage, it could be in place because something's being released on the first day, and it can be activated at any point in time. People won't know. There's a whole lot to it. Yeah, absolutely.
This is why when they get when you have companies that are now, I like I said, when someone hacks your system, technically I would count that 0. Like, that's the 0. That's the day number 1, right? But yeah, when we actually find out that there's a loophole, there's something going on, technically that's the 0 day. But this is why companies say we don't know the extent, because by the time they find out that there's a problem, they don't know how long that problem has been exploited. I could hack Chase today. They won't find out till next month. They don't know how long I've been in their systems. That's why when they come out with their report, they never say we don't know the full extent of the hack. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how long I've been in their system.
Well,
they only know from the day they found out that once they find out, then they can track it. Then they know what was. Yeah. But by that time, I've already downloaded their entire database like 5 times over.
In other words, what the best way to say it is, it existed from the very first day. We don't know how long we've been exploited. That's the best way to say it. Yep. Yeah. And that's existed in every single version of almost every piece of software since probably
every software
96, 97. Because a lot of stuff, you have to remember, was still disk driven back then. So
they had offline which that
you had to break it at a hardware level back then. Was it 94? It might have been 94. Shit.
I was thinking 95-ish around there, but Again, we don't know every. I don't know every system and what's been hacked and everything.
Windows 95 was codenamed Chicago. I got access. Yeah, I got access to it at 94. So I'd say 94.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I was
didn't
saying
have early access.
Yeah,
no.
Oh no, well we had to. We were building for it back then. So from when we were playing, like most people were playing with 3.11, and what
back
a tragedy!
When Windows actually had a antivirus.
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. They did a really good job. I mean, they're shit. Fuck.
Now Windows antivirus is just Windows anti-theft. That's all Windows antivirus is today. They don't give a shit.
Is like
Windows anti-theft. That's it. The only thing they guard against is anything that cracks Windows. They don't give a shit about any of the other viruses. They let ESET and all these other ones take care of that. The only thing worse than Windows Defender is Norton.
Colonial Pipeline was hacked because of a backbone issue that allowed access to, Arduino level kinds of boards were accessible. That's a pipeline hack. Well, and not a pipeline hack in the extent that you're talking about it, but it was because they were able to crack the inside the infrastructure. They had to get into the internal infrastructure to get to the Arduino style boards. That's how that happened. But nobody's talking about that. I mean, you can take all that shit offline. You can replace all those boards in 24 hours if you needed to. But whatever. No, well, they're not really technically Arduino boards. They're that same style. They're they're proprietary in a certain manner of speaking, but universally they're very similar.
I gotta admit though, the security we have today to guard against servers and infrastructures are a lot better than we had 20 years ago. I mean, I think that would be obvious, but we have so much redundancy and virtualizations and backups and fail safes, and it's so much easier for me now. Don't get me wrong, it's harder on the setup. I'll tell you that much right now. It is a pain in the ass for me when I get a new client. Okay, Culture Casino. I went to I got a new client one day, and when I get a new client, I go over to their computers and I check out everything that they have. He had redundancy. Crap, can't think of the word right now. Backups, incremental backups, in which the incremental backups were saved on multiple external drives, in which he erased every other week. Incremental backups that he erased every other week. He was only doing incremental backups.
No, I know. But did he at least have a daily RAID array? Did he have a RAID array in line?
He didn't even have a RAID array. Now, RAID isn't backup, but RAID is supposed to be an operation. Is what I call an operational backup. It's something that keeps you running if you fail on the spot. But he didn't have that. He had, the last tech guy he had I don't know, something up his ass, and it definitely wasn't his brains. Maybe it was his brains. I don't know. He had no RAID system. He had incremental backups, and he was deleting his backups. I'm like, dude, do you realize if you go fail right now, you're done. You lose everything.
I always tell people, I'm like, you need a terabyte. You need a terabyte RAID array at the very bare minimum for most like mid enterprise level stuff. Most people don't even do that, well, I'm talking about for
triplicates.
I'm not talking about.
I like to stick to triplicates. I have a RAID operational drive.
Right
now, so I have my server. I have the operational drive is set on RAID, whether it's RAID 1 or RAID 5 or higher. Then I have a backup drive. Now that can be RAID or not RAID, but it's not required because the third backup is NAS. and thump is RAID.
Yeah, no, and you have to send the NAS, and not only that, the NAS has to automatically send it to an offsite location at the end of the backup.
Yes, that is like that's the fail safe. That's the fail safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
But most people don't do that. And when you get in, when you do large scale data dense stuff, you have to sending it offsite's the best thing. I mean, one of the first companies I started, which didn't get off the ground, but would have been great to have now, was we called it OSDS, offsite data storage. We were one of the first cloud mountains that was going to exist.
Awesome.
I lost funding. Anyway, sorry.
Side bit here. We have some questions about the incremental backups and how that's a bad thing and why that's a bad thing.
Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, so incremental backup, guys, you have two kinds of backups. You have a full backup, which takes a snapshot of your entire hard drive, the entire thing. If you lose your hard drive, you can use a full backup. You just replace your primary drive, and then you just use your full backup to replace your entire drive. Incremental backups are for people who don't have enough time to waste, because a full backup takes time to back up your entire drive. And if you have to do a full backup every single night, that's a lot of drive usage. That's a lot of keeping your computers on, a lot of time it takes to do a full backup every single time. So what they came up with is what's called an incremental backup. So what happens is you do a full backup on January 1st. And then tomorrow, all you have to do is back up the difference of what the backup was on the first day to what the data looks like the second day. That way, if you only changed 5% of your data, right? Think of it like a Word document. If you only change one word, the first backup is the entire Word document. The incremental backup is just a one word that you changed. Okay. So if you lose your original file, it restores the full backup and then changes the backup with every small incremental. This saves time doing your daily backups, but increases the time of restoring your data, because now you have to have a huge catalog, including your primary backup and all the incrementals that you have that changes the data to today's current date. So if you do incremental backups and you start deleting those incremental backups, you're deleting all the changes that you did. It makes your backup completely useless. Like the only thing you have is that.
So let's say you're writing a story and you've made several changes to it in your Word document, to use your analogy, and you've deleted all of the changes. So what you're got is
your original.
You have a very old one.
You
have whatever the most recent change is.
Yes.
Oh, that wouldn't work.
You just lost everything that you've done until that first one.
And that's why I do the 48-hour cycle. I have RAID arrays. I have clouds. So like in the middle of the night, like right now, what time is it?
12:46 Eastern.
Okay, all right. So in 15 minutes. Wait, what day is this? This is
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
God, is it Wednesday?
It's Thursday now.
It's Wednesday going into Thursday. So when it goes into Thursday for me, when the clock hits the right number, everything's going to go up, right? Everything's going up, right? Yep. But I still maintain the RAID array. I still maintain an incremental, and I still maintain the two redundant backups that I already have, which run every night at the same time. So all of that data is going to go on the outside, right? And it's going to reside in the cloud. Now, I replace the cloud backup every 72 hours. So every 72 hours, the cloud gets completely replaced. So I will never lose more than 3 days of data, right? If catastrophic,
worst case scenario. If
the catastrophic happens, I won't lose more than 3 days. Yeah. So and I will occasionally make a physical, like plug in a USB, pull everything out, and go home with it if I absolutely need to. And that's my fail safe, because I figure if I lose a month, I can rebuild it. But more than that, you might as well jump off a building, because this is fucking gonna.
What I did, is I added one more thing to that where I have what's called, and I know you know this already. I don't want to lose 3 days. I
Right.
can't even lose 3 days on
Right.
some of my clients.
I can.
So what I have to where it goes to the cloud, it'll back up one version every 3 days, and then on the third day, it wipes two. So it's like musical chairs.
Right. It's
So
going
that way, even if I do get a catastrophic, I still have last day. I only lose 1 day maximum
right. Yeah.
if I have a catastrophic.
I always tell people, I'm like, look, count how many days you could afford to not be in business. Because for every day you can afford to not be in business, those are what you should call your recovery days. So if you could recover for 2 or 3 days, you get 2 or 3 day backup. That's all you need to figure out. But like I said, I mean, and then if you run a multi-blade, you run a multi-blade server, you just cycle your servers. But I
just wish I could run on blades. I can't. My clients can't even run on blades right now.
I know.
Not yet. Yeah. Not yet. Some of them do. I had one that worked on blades, but some of them, like, because I do a lot of local small business, like dentist office, doctor's office, veterinarian's office.
Set them up.
They
on a
can't move. I want to, but we're talking like $10,000.
I think I spent 14 on the last blade.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, minimum
$10,000. What's a blade?
It's removable servers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have one rack that has like 2 to 4 servers. You just pop them in, pop them out. Right. But it costs money to do that, and each business. Okay, the biggest problem I have with my clients is I have to get them where I want them to be from where they're at before I came into the picture. That's the problem. So I have to deal with the mess that the last IT guy put them into. And I say that because every fucking time I take on a new client, that's exactly what it is. It's a mess that the last person has that I have to kind of, okay, you got to do it this way. You got to do it this way. You got to do it this way, and finally get them to where they should be.
So I always set everybody up with Realm authentication so that they can have truly portable profiles, and that way they can access, everybody in the organization can access their profile from anywhere. Doesn't matter if they log in locally.
You're talking about an Active Directory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Active Directory, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but with Realm authentication, you log in basically during the internal infrastructure, which has an IP address, which is also a named address in the DNS. So they can actually log in as Fred at imthisdentistry.com. Right. And so when they go in under that, then their profile transfers to the local machine. They're able to access all that data, but at the same time,
all that data
back to the remote host. The remote host
that is optimal.
Back up all the data. Yeah.
It's policy changes.
And, Oh yeah. You do everything at the policy level. Yeah.
Everything. Yep.
Yeah. So
the problem is moving them over to that is a pain in the ass.
It is. It sucks. But you have to have the infrastructure to support it. If you have somebody who's willing to spend $100K on a fucking proper setup, you're good to go. But most people are like, "Oh no, I don't have that kind of money." You have to talk down to that you have to talk about the 14K. It's like, I can put you on your own blade, but it's just like most people don't get it. And like I said, I'm out of that business now, but I always tell people, I'm like, okay, by the way, I'm buying a blade, so I know how much they are, but it's like 14K. So it's just, most people don't want to buy that. And that's with a quality Xeon processor with substantial memory, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it is what it is. Anyway, sorry guys. I'm going to stop speaking Chinese at all of you and say,
I had fun too, man. I love a good geek nerd talk about the infrastructure and computers, man.
I feel like I'm in 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm the monkey, and I just touched the monolith.
Welcome to our world, man. I don't joke around when I tell people my desk looks like the Starship Enterprise. My desk looks like the Starship Enterprise. Okay, I got monitors and screens within screens and virtual machines within virtual machines.
Look.
Sorry, what?
No, Tommy and everybody in the chat are laughing at us because of Blade. They're like, "Oh, fucking," they're all like the vampire Blade. I'm like,
this is even my final form.
This is only Garland. We haven't gotten to chaos yet.
oh, fuck.
So
no,
true.
I mean, but see, this is fun because we can have arguments with people who disagree with us. Like a lot of people, are like, well, no, you wouldn't do realm authentication. You would, And so, yeah, you get into really weird arguments about this stuff. But that's what I loved about it, because honestly, you could access access the world from outside.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
I had a tech who hooked up a client of mine with a dual core server with a bronze power supply.
While they were underpowered.
Yeah. And then they wondered, like 6 months later, why they were having their computer shut off randomly.
Oh, dude, this shit just fucking shuts down. Yeah, no, I got
randomly shuts down.
Yeah, I have a battery backup. I don't know what's happening. We don't have any power outages. I know what's going on. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Let me slam an 850 in there and shut the fuck up.
They think because they think, oh, what's the power supply? Why do I gotta get why do I have to put money into a power supply?
Dude, we are killing the chat right now. They hate us a lot.
I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm sorry. Well, let's talk about something else. Good chat,
you know
though,
what?
man.
There you go. Yeah. We're coming up on it, bro. We're coming up on it, man. I love that. That's a great idea. Here's the
Elon's
thing.
working on it.
We're not far away. Okay, so all right. So right now we can track brain impulse, and translate it into action. Right. Pretty soon, I have a feeling we'll be able to reverse the process. Theoretically, there are ways to do it. I'm going to say it that way. I have a good feeling that you will be able to consume all of human knowledge.
Microseconds.
15 years from now, maybe. You'll be essentially able to acquire all actual authenticated human knowledge, which will be good because you won't get any of the disinformational bullshit.
Bad sense. Yeah. Experience too. That's the beautiful thing about it. A step further is when they're going to take it into nanotechnology, where you basically get one shot and those nanobots just completely, they don't take over your brain, but they give you like a augmented reality to a max.
Yeah. And they'll have to be replaced because they have limited power source, but it's fine.
But when Lore did that to the Borg, it fucked them up.
No, there is there's more to it.
Yeah, you don't want the nanobots to take over and kill the brain.
Well, okay, I'll correct culture in one moment. In one thing. If we realize how to use dark energy, they might not even need to be replaced.
Okay, so here's the other part of that. Okay, so you can. All right. Okay, so there's a whole lot of biology we can talk about here. Okay, so you have a cellular clock in your body, right? And it's managed by something called telomerase.
Telemeters.
Yeah, but telomerase would be the thing that you need to influence. In telomeres is actually
That's what I thought. Telemeters, right? Like meter.
Telomeres, MERES. Yeah, there's no T in it, but yeah.
Mirrors. Okay, I got it.
Telomerase. You can reset your clock. Okay, this has actually been people have been doing with this and experimenting with. It's been working. You can actually reset your cellular clock at a cellular level, and for every cell in your body, it just takes an augmentation to make this happen. So, with nanotechnology, it's quite possible through either RNA formats or other, you could actually influence the ability for you to reset the clock in your body for your telomeres. your telomeres.
Yep.
Your telomeres could essentially make you live forever. How does that sound, kids? Sound good?
Well, I know if I may,
Yeah, go
not
ahead.
live forever. Choose when you want to die.
Also true. Also true. That's probably a better way to say it. But so now, if you were an oligarchy and you were trying to influence the path of humanity, how would you go about managing immortality for the human race?
You wouldn't want it. You'd only want it for yourself.
Right. Or a limited number of parties. So you have this is technology that has to get out into the world larger. The larger world. And forever is a long fucking time. And yes, hell is for real. Just another red shirt. I agree with you. So, but you for here's the other thing about all of this magicalness. You can create a circumstance where disease can be chronic rather than fatal. Right now, we are on the cusp of medicine that can create those circumstances where conditions
disease
are chronic,
that used to be fatal
become
but now
chronic.
manageable.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on that cusp. So, which is why when we see countries, Wookiee Lives Matter, to speak to that, you see the province of China. Hang on a minute. Have a significant population decrease. I can't remember the name of the China province. I just had it. But as a country, China is experiencing depopulation because of
They're in a negative.
the one child doctrine.
The one child
which
doctrine.
produced
Wait, didn't they
only
just
male.
get rid of that?
Well, again,
Did they just get?
Well, again, we're going to be relying on their numbers, and a lot of people that have more than one child, they don't report them to the government. So,
But
Well, no.
based on-
Before they used to kill them. Now they don't kill them, but they do something. Like I don't know. I don't know if I'm talking out my ass or not. But I know before they used to kill them. Right? China used to kill your kids. That like long time ago.
I'm trying to remember. I don't
Well,
remember. I knew
all
that there was a lot of abortions.
all I have
Yeah.
to say is that China's
Same thing,
economic engine is dependent upon a growing population. That's not happening right now. There's also been a population decline in Western nations for the last 25 years. Most people have not been paying attention to that.
Well, there's been a birth rate decline. Immigration in the United States, anyway, is making up for that.
Exactly. In the United States, immigration has been making up for that, but it's been educated persons are having less than replacement value. So you're having a one-child circumstance in the United States instead of the 2.5, plus a dog experience that we had with the nuclear family. So, there is a lot of problems going on in the world right now when it comes to all of these things. So,
Not to mention,
go ahead.
Not to mention the technology bounds are removing jobs.
Oh yeah.
So before one job used to take 5 people to do. Now it takes 1.
Mm-hmm.
So now the population increased to the people who actually have work.
Yep.
Now obviously our elites know all this stuff, and they sell
we know this stuff.
Well, yeah, and they sell it a different way. It comes to things like stunted growth. But for example, with Obamacare, your child stays on your policy till they're 26, and things like that. It creates a longer adolescence period. There's a cultural change to having less children, but on the other hand, you need more people to keep the economy grow. That's what's
difficult. Happening in China right now. They are concerned that their economy could collapse 25 years before they had initially planned. Do you hear the word there?
Wait. Run that number by me again.
Their economy could collapse 25 years before they had planned.
So that could explain a lot of their aggressive behavior then.
Well, again, okay, so how do you succeed as a nation? You have natural resources. You have a burgeoning population. You have innovation, right? So you've been stealing your innovation. Your population is declining. What's the only option left to you? Acquiring resources. So if I work for the National Intelligence Agency, the NIA, if I work for them, that would be my analysis right now, and that would be why I would have a battle group right now on the Taiwanese front, or the Taiwanese Strait right now. That's where I'd have a whole battle group there just hanging.
Well, I would have to agree with that, and I hear where you're going, and I exactly would concur with that assessment. That,
but that's what I would do. I don't get to advise them.
We really do need to have people looking out for our national interests right now, because the current executive office holder, I think we both agree, is not.
Yes, Floyd. I'm sorry. Their collapse is planned. Okay, wait. Okay, so all right. They plan they plan cyclical events in China. They essentially, there's a rise and fall in every avenue that they're pursuing. They anticipate, plan for, and create, or they delay certain opportunities. It's happened forever. Well, or at least in the last 109 years. When was the Chinese Cultural Review? Anyway, it's been planned. This is sooner than planned. There actually are articles written on this you can find out there in the universe if you go outside of U.S. and mainstream media. Yeah, again, go to world media. Fuck the U.S. media right now, right? Because you're going to get nothing other than pablum. You're going to get what the pre-programmed bullshit is. I'm sorry, I'm telling you the truth. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, their collapse was planned. Yep, I know. Philippine. I already know all this Cavatanio, Calvaronian. Yep. Yeah, I know. Right now, if I were sitting, God damn it, if I were sitting in the right place, there'd be some places that were not being done. But again, that's not the interest of the administration.
We did have an administration that had those interests in mind.
Yeah. The concepts of a setback were in place that actually would have served the Chinese people better. I don't even know that they understand that, but the idea of balanced trade would have served China and the United States interests better going forward 50 years. I mean, based on modeling. That's the other problem I have with most of all of that.
I mean, and I wanted to touch on this earlier, but, we're talking about things that stifle innovation, monopolies, oligopolies, oligarchy.
Technology theft.
Well, I mean, here's a big one. We have, let's go back to the 70s, the end of the gold standard. You have David Rockefeller.
The Carter era. Yeah.
So you have David Rockefeller, who basically was like the Johnny Appleseed of the petrodollar in the Middle East, throughout the 60s, basically setting up for the petrodollar in the 60s.
He did a good job. Did a very good job by that.
Yes, on that he did. Yeah, but here's the thing. If the dollar as the world reserve currency is tied to petroleum, and you need dollars for petroleum, and you have to have petroleum to run your economy, if something better is out there, is there any incentive to switch to something better if your entire currency is based around petroleum?
No, but that's why there's instigation in the Middle East currently. Except that we're right in the point of this is the weirdest thing. I feel, look, history repeats itself. I lived through the Carter era. I know what stagflation looks like, except that it's not going to be that. It's going to be hyperinflation like a motherfucker. And nobody's prepared for this. If you guys have an extra dollar, find a place to put it that's going to generate you money, because fuck.
You mean that creating 40% of all dollars that have ever been in existence in the last year is not a good thing for inflation?
Look, and here's the thing. Do you realize that Trump was like, this isn't a good plan? on his way out the door when they were, doing whatever they did. This isn't a good plan. It's never been a good plan. You have you have an opportunity to reduce the valuation of every currency across the globe. This is the other thing most people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Money will essentially be valueless, which is why cryptocurrency is looking like a fucking gem. It's the new gold standard. Again, I'm not giving you financial advice. I would never do that. But I'm just saying, the value of the cryptocurrency is exceeding the devaluation of every other world currency. How's that sound? Which is why the federal government's like, oh no, we got to get out of the cryptocurrency. Except they can't do shit about it. Fuck you guys. But they're going to try.
Yeah, so it looks like John McAfee is not going to have to eat his own dick. He made a bet, I think on Bitcoin. Wait, has it reached? No, it hasn't reached 100,000. Was it 100,000? Was that the bet?
It'll be there soon. And that's the thing. And you've got Ethereum. Ethereum is the next fucking Bitcoin. And you have, I'm not going to say it. A currency I'm about to buy. In 2 weeks, I will tell you what it is. Cryptocurrency. And Doge, which had a volatile week, but that thing will bounce back up. And Wookie's not wrong. Gold and ammo. Two currencies that are very valuable.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
And yes, the collapse was planned. Inflation is not transitory. Fuck those guys in the asshole.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm back. What did I miss?
Nothing. It's just $15
monetary.
an hour. Here's the thing. $15 an hour will mean jack shit because it's going to be the equivalent of earning $2 an hour back in the fucking Carter administration. You guys don't fucking get it. You're not fucking economists. You don't fucking pay attention. Look, I don't care. So I make $1.5 million a year, but it only is going to buy me $90,000 worth of shit every year that it was back in 2018. Fuck you. Right? Because
we're talking about inflation?
Yeah, yes. Fucking hyperinflation like these motherfuckers are putting us in right now. But yeah, no, there are certain commodities that are evergreen. Gold is one of them. And it's
right now it's information. Right now
you're not wrong, but it's got to be pure information, not bullshit.
Pure information, not bullshit. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Now, when you're saying information, what information are you talking about? Personal information about people, or information, analytic data,
analytical data that is based on pure fact and not artificially inflated, because information can be artificially inflated. And this is one of my points as far as Project Prometheus is concerned, because one of the things in terms and conditions basically says we have the right to sell your information, whether you like it or not. Who's buying what? What's that term? Forgive me, I'm a little off my game right now. When you Amazon affiliation information. If I get you to buy something, that information, who you click on, every click that you make on your browser, everything that you look at, and resolution is everything. It's all about resolution. And I tell people this, I'm like, they go as far as deep as if you're scrolling through YouTube, let's say you're searching for something on YouTube, right? And you hit enter and you're scrolling down the list. The thing that makes you stop for a second, you don't even click. It just makes you stop and look at something for an extra microsecond. That information is being sold. Right? Because when you're scrolling through something and something catches your eye, you don't click it, but you stop for a second while you're in the middle of scrolling to look at it and read it, and then you continue scrolling. That information is gold to companies. They want to know what you're doing, who you're looking at, what you're saying, every single thing you put online.
And that's the thing is, and that's again, feeds 100% in today's video. I was saying these are valuable pieces of information.
That
Nobody
you should be getting
realized-
paid for.
Yeah, nobody realizes the data that they put out
They're
in
giving
the
up.
world on it. Yeah, on a
Video
day-to-day
games.
basis. Oh,
Video
fuck.
games are video games today. Back
They're
in the day, like
information.
20 years ago, they were different, but today they are expensive surveys. They're making you pay. So let's say you click, let's say you're playing Farm Villa, right? They want to know, what did you pick, corn or did you pick cauliflower? That little information that you picked. Did you pick the green Ferrari or
They
did you pick
also
the
wanna
purple
know-
Pinto?
They also
They want
want
to know that.
but more important than even those pieces of data is the threshold at which you are willing to surrender currency to get to the
To
next
get that
level.
information.
No, to get to the next level. Like I need 11 wood. Okay, I have 9 wood. Am I willing to pay $2 to get 2 wood? Right? It's a fucking same thing. And that's it is what it is.
Ridiculous.
But I want to say these words before I have to sign off because I am freaking tired and I've got at least 16 hours of work tomorrow.
Mhm.
Well, that's including all the live streams I'm on because Thursday's a busy fucking day for me. But I had a great time. We got to talk around a lot of issues. We got to feed into some of my fucking geeky nerd craziness that nobody gives 2 shits about.
What?
And-
Are you kidding me? The chat loved it. I loved it.
Oh, all of the people in the chat are freaking awesome. This is the best 2 hours that I've spent all day. Although I have to say, I had a great time over at Fat Steven's 1000 celebration.
Did I miss
we
it?
got to get-
I was supposed to be on
You-
that.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was just
no.
before you.
No,
Yeah.
you were working, brother. You were working. You were excused. This man needs to get to 1K. This man who's down here who hasn't said a whole lot. That's Captain Trek.
no.
He needs to get to 1K. And LDG is going to be the savior of us all one day. So, God damn, subscribe to these motherfuckers. Oh, by the way, I have a 2K celebration. You'll see this man here on Saturday. So please come by on Saturday. I'm going
Awesome.
to post the shit out of it. I fucking love all of you people. You have no idea. Culture Casino loves you. Word.
All right. Wait, did I give you your outro yet, or was that your outro?
That was it. That was
Oh,
it.
okay.
I'll stay here till everybody else.
Oh, all right. Well,
You-
we'll just wave goodbye to them. Awesome. Thanks for being here, man. This is great. This is
Good
fun.
stuff.
This reminds me of like when I first started YouTubing. This is just like the Wild West here. We're just going with it. I'm having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So
Each day brings new challenges.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Are you guys up for a little longer, or should we call it a stream?
11:20, 11:16. I'm good for a little bit longer. If there's something else you want to talk about, topic or whatnot.
Well, I always like to push the limit and see how far I can go with YouTube. So that's always fun.
You really want to push those buttons, don't you?
Mhm. So yeah, let's talk about Susan Wojcicki, I guess. Yeah. So that's very interesting. I don't know a lot about her. Do you guys?
Susan Wojcicki?
Yeah, the CEO of YouTube. Look
Oh.
her up.
Well, is
I always
that
spelled her name
different
wrong.
than the CEO of Google?
Yes.
Okay, so they actually kept it separate. I haven't really heard much about her specifically. Is there an article or anything in particular
I've got the
that
Wicca.
she recently?
Oh, well, I mean, she gave herself an award for
Which award was that?
free speech.
Oh, is that freedom of speech thing I heard about?
Mhm.
Fucking joke. Oh my god.
Hey, I
Maybe
did
the
spell her
freedom
name
to
right.
speak, but not the freedom of speech. And that's where it goes back there before. It's like the Matrix. You have the illusion of choice. You have the illusion of freedom. You don't actually have freedom. You have the illusion of freedom, and that's what they're betting on.
Yeah.
As far as the tube being some freedom of speech, really, she gave herself. Is this an actual legitimate award? Because I didn't actually read the details.
Let me get the let me get some Susan Wojcicki.
Is this like the Oscars or the
award free speech? Here we go. Free Expression Award from the Freedom Forum Institute, a virtual ceremony sponsored by YouTube. Here, let me bring the article up here. I'm gonna post this in the private chat.
So she won the very award that she sponsored?
Yes.
So it's kind of like the 2020 Game Awards. Okay. The games that sponsored won. Yeah. What a joke.
Yeah, what a
I don't know how they get away with that.
Here we go.
I don't know how they get away with that. Because I wouldn't even give Parler that award.
Yeah, me neither. Parler kind of. So yeah, here you go. 420. Well, that makes sense. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki gets Freedom Expression Award sponsored by YouTube. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki received a Free Expression Award from the Freedom Forum Institute in a virtual ceremony sponsored by YouTube. And that tells you what YouTube is, like we didn't know. On Thursday, YouTube creator Molly Burke presented. Okay, Molly Burke. Just going to file that away for a second. Molly Burke presented Wojcicki with the accolade in a video shared to the platform. I'm so excited to be here tonight to present Susan Wojcicki the Freedom Expression Award. As CEO of YouTube, Susan is facing some of the most critical issues around free expression today, Burke said.
Was it a YouTube button made of pure cold fusion?
I wonder if I actually sounded like that lady. Hold on. I don't know.
What a joke. Oh my God.
Well, here comes the joke part. Wojcicki sat down for an interview during the online ceremony, during which she emphasized the importance of free speech and the role that YouTube plays in protecting it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh,
well, I won't doubt going. That. YouTube protects their own freedom to speak. I'll admit that. Whatever YouTube wants to say, YouTube will say. Now, if she's talking about us, she's full of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. The First Amendment only protects you from the government. It doesn't protect you from private companies.
It's so funny that you said that. I had somebody on Twitter arguing the same thing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm in conversation with this kind of person. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. There's section 230. There's section 230, you know, the difference between a publisher and, you know, a platform. Yes. If you're going to send, so you have this thing called a mute button and a block button. Well, I mean, not so much on YouTube. I mean, we do, but
yeah. No. A moderated platform, and they do more than moderate, right?
Yep.
But as far as I'm concerned, any freedom of speech platform that is moderated is no longer freedom of speech. Period. End of story.
Yeah, pretty close.
I have yet one person to argue and change my mind. I'll be the first person to say a blanket statement like that, but I'm the first no, I'm not the first person, okay? I'm a person who will say that, but I will give you a button to change my mind. Like, change my mind, please, dear God. Tell me something that will change my mind. But YouTube is not only just moderating, they are doing a lot more than moderating. They are literally serving up information on a silver platter based on what they see fit.
Serving information on a silver platter, stifling information with which they that they don't want you to see, stifling creators that are promoting that information. See, here's an interesting thing, and I want your thoughts on this. So we're getting to a place where, you know, let's say that you start a separate channel, maybe because you do have less controversial content, or maybe because you feel that the algorithm is punishing you on your main channel. Well, you start a different channel, and YouTube says, you know what? There's these strike evaders. So what we're going to do is have, you know, do a voice recognition so that, you know, you're just going to get this channel throttled, or No matter where you go, where that voice shows up, that channel is going to be punished.
Yeah. Voice modulators. That's why I have one.
Yep.
They're very good. I mean, if you can make yourself, sound completely different, then, go ahead and do that. I mean, because, they're, for everything that they think they can do, we can come back. Whoops. 1 second. Excuse me. Close. Oh, it's going to make, are you seriously? I forgot to reactivate my damn voice modulator. There's a million things we can do to counteract that. I think it's bullshit. I think that's what they're going to try to do. They already have your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
You already need a phone number to create a YouTube channel. So that means you have to have more than one registered phone number. Registered phone number to create a YouTube channel. That's the first thing that pisses me off. The fact that you need, and people like me who don't believe in I believe in cell phones, but I believe cell phones are nothing but information grabbers. I don't have a cell phone. I haven't had a cell phone in the last 6 years. Because when I found out what cell phones are doing, I was like, fuck that. I can survive without a cell phone. Hello, VoIP. And I've survived just fine in the past 6 years. But now validation websites like YouTube are recognizing VoIP phone numbers and saying that they are incompatible phone numbers, which is bullshit. They're just as fine.
I've noticed that because I was using that. Yeah.
Yes. It's only, I don't want to get into another Prometheus. People who know me know I start getting on a Prometheus rant because this is the reason why I'm on YouTube. Those of you who know me, I am not your, what did I think about the latest Star Wars movie channel? Okay, that's not what you come to me for. I'm a community channel. I have my channel because I want to change the world before I reset with Project Prometheus. I think we deserve freedom of speech, and we don't even have a freaking glimpse of it yet. And I am facing these problems where I have to use the very platforms I want to change in order to change the rules for all of us. They don't need voice recognition. I think that's just one more thing they can do, but they already don't need it. They know what IP address you're coming from. They know what MAC address you're coming from. They know what city right down to your literal address. They know where you're coming from. They have your account information. They have your LinkedIn phone number, your backup, your secondary authorization phone number, your two-way communication, authentication address, your backup authenticated email address. They got so many ways of knowing it's you in the first place. To add voice recognition is like basically just the nail in the coffin. Now, I don't doubt they're going to do it because they already have the means. They already have the means of voice recognition. Right now, every single word, all of us are saying, everything you type in a chat, everything that's coming out of our mouths, all that text he has shared screen right now, all of this is getting logged. They already have the means to do this. Now, the fact that I've literally created new channels because I want to try to segregate. So now I have LDG of Geeks and Joy and Geeks and Joy Nerdrotica and Geeks and Joy rants and Geeks and Joy live streams. I'm not doing that to evade strikes. I'm doing that to segregate and to highly promote. A lot of people say, why have more than one channel? Because you're basically competing with yourself. Doesn't understand how YouTube works. The more lottery tickets you buy, the more chance you have to win. End of story. Yeah. And that's what having more than one channel does. Now, there's also a secondary thing where having live streams on a channel that you upload videos also seems to be a factor, right? You don't want to technically keep your live streams live on a channel that you upload videos to because that kind of hurts you in a way. There's some truth to that, so that's why I'm segregating my channels. But this right here with the phone numbers of the voice recognitions, it's going to come down to face recognition, voice recognition. I mean, they're going to lock it down as much as they can. And it's not until these platforms get put in their place Okay. And I'll say this. Okay, I'm really starting to get into a rant. Wes, stop me if I go too far.
Rant.
The internet starts when your device turns on. The internet is the platform. That's the platform. Is the internet itself. You're giving away so much information about yourself just by turning on your cell phone. End of story. Anybody who's in technology and computers knows what I'm saying is absolutely true. The second you turn on your computer, your laptop, your tablet, your cell phone, your smartwatch, your smart glasses, your smart condom, whatever the hell you have that's smart, the second you turn it on, you are on a platform. The information coming from that device is readable across the net. Okay? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds, and in Minds. Oh, God, I know you're on Minds, right? You're on Minds? I heard Minds had a huge update recently that has blown the roof off what we thought they believed in. Trying to message people privately and stuff is like turned into a living nightmare. I've heard.
It has.
They've changed a lot of stuff. Parler, even the people who false flag in the name of freedom of speech, all of them, they're not platforms. They're sub-platforms. They are publishers. They're not platforms. We need a platform that is on your device that turns you into the server, protects your data, protects what you do, lets you give control over what you want to see, think, hear, say, and do. Not Facebook, not YouTube, not, they are publishers. Facebook should be coming to you and saying, Wes Moody, we see your server, you're Wes Moody, right? Let's say Prometheus, okay? Let's just keep it, right? We want you. We're going to pay you to let us host some of your content. That's what this should be like. Not you going to 5 different platforms with 5 different usernames, 5 different passwords, 5 different accounts, 5 different list of friends, 5 different, you know what I mean? You should have one set of everything and that everybody connects to you instead of you connecting to them.
Interesting.
That's what we don't have today. That's what I am basing Prometheus on. It is a end user program that turns you into the server, turns you into the resource, and lets these people have to be what they are, publishers. They're not public platforms. Right now, you, the viewer that are watching right now, right? And forgive me, Wes, because this is one of my things I do. The thumbs up and thumbs down. Let me tell you guys something. It doesn't do jack shit for us. Okay? It doesn't do jack shit for me. It doesn't do jack shit for anybody. Our analytics are pointless to thumbs up and thumbs down. What's the first thing you see when you click the thumbs up? What's the first thing you see? This video is added to your liked videos. You, the viewer, are being tracked and being labeled as a liker or disliker of particular content, depending on what you click the thumbs up and thumbs down at. If you type in any word into YouTube search algorithm and you look at the videos that pop up in the search engine, the number of likes have nothing to do with what comes up. The first video could have 5,000 likes. 10 videos down could have 10 million thumbs up. The thumbs up has nothing to do with it. And if it does have a slight amount to do with it, it's only related to the priority that you originally put when you put the video up. Okay? Because when you put a video up, right, YouTube has no clue what the video is. So it's up to us to label the video using the title, description, and key tags, and what we say in the actual video. Depending on those 3 things, that's where YouTube says, okay, this Wes Moody stream is going to be put under the blah, blah, blah key term. So when someone types in blah, blah, blah key term, you have a percentage of chance of showing up. Now, that's not static. So if I click 1,000 times on that, and someone in India types 1,000 times on that, someone in California types 1,000 times on that, someone in Canada types 1,000, it's never the same. YouTube takes it by priority and you're in line. And as people get shown to you, then someone else clicks. Okay, now it's your turn. You get shown. Then it's this person's turn. They have to, you get a priority, but everybody steps in line. That's why when you look at your analytics, when we look at our analytics on YouTube, it looks like a curve.
It
because
does.
we're in line. And that's why it looks like a curve. That's why, because if it was the other way around, it would be a straight up line. It would be like literally a diagonal or a straight up line, right? Because it would not let the little person ever get their turn. It wouldn't let people like you and me ever get our turn on key terms if it was done that way. Not to mention you have people who false flag, right? You have people, how many times you go into a channel and there's already, 100 thumbs up? The damn video hasn't even started yet. How the hell did you thumb it up yet? Or thumbs down. Goes both ways in my book. I know a lot of people complain about, how did you thumbs down the video and it didn't start yet? Well, why did it thumbs up before the video didn't start yet? I don't even know if I like. If you people are thumbing up videos just because they like the channel, and if you're an algorithm, that will confuse the living shit out of you. Your basic. This is what we were talking about when Casino was talking about pure data. This is what we're talking about, pure data. If you just blindly thumbs up and thumbs down a video, and if that information actually did matter, it would make it impossible for lower channels like us to even get seen whatsoever. Sorry. Okay. That's my rant right there. Like I said, it's time for change. It's time that someone puts these people in their place. And until that happens, this is the game we're playing. This is the game we wake up to every day. And especially for content creators like Captain Trek, Wes Moody, myself, this is the world we live in. When we make a video, we know, because, okay, right now, let's say Wes Moody made a video about the next Star Wars movie. Okay. He should get equal shot to anybody else to get visibility. When he goes live, when someone types in Star Wars, he should get seen, period. But that's not the way it is today. Wes Moody, me, myself, we should all get the shot to say, do you like us? Come see us. And then you decide for yourself whether you like us or not. Not the way it's done now, where it's based on other information that basically censors us. Now, like I said, there is a priority and we do get seen a little bit, but trust me, we should be getting right now. There should be like 1,000 people who saw tonight's stream. You think that's fair enough? How many millions of people are on YouTube right now? I would say at least 1,000 at fair numbers should have saw your channel pop up tonight as a live stream. But you didn't. As a matter of fact, if you go to your analytics right now, I would be surprised if you have 200 to 300 impressions.
Let's see if I'm getting impressions. I think because we're still live. I don't know if it'll let me do that.
No, the impressions. Thank God YouTube is the only thing that will actually show you your impressions. It's one of the only analytics you can actually see while you're still live. So you should be able to see it. Now, whether YouTube's having a glitch moment right now, which has been known to happen, where we just get...
It'll be on this particular live stream, right?
This live stream, you go to analytics, go to reach, under reach, and look under impressions.
21 impressions.
Now, how many?
21.
You're being throttled hard.
Here, let me show you.
Hard. Now, there's 2 points of impressions. There's one more place you can look, and that's on the same page, but you scroll down slightly to the inverted pyramid. Now, did you just refresh that page?
Not yet, no.
Go ahead and refresh that page just to make sure to rule out we don't have a loading glitch. Okay. So 21 impressions, and that's 99% all your subscribers that got that. Now, if you scroll down, look to the right there, you see that first number, 43. So your actual impressions was 43. So 21 was to your subscribers. About 22 was to non-subscribers. And out of those 22, you had 11 actual views.
That does seem like kind of a small number.
No. That doesn't kind of seem like a small number. There are like 100 million people on YouTube right now, Wes Moody.
Yeah, that's an infinitesimal number. We're getting fucked pretty hard.
That's a humongously small number. Now, good news is the algorithm is actually kind of fair, somewhat. And I've proven this on my earlier streams where I've gotten my live streams up to 2,500 impressions. But you have to do certain things. You have to make use of your tags, your description, and your title, and not just filling them out. Not just filling them out, because just filling them out is a trap. You have to fill them out in a certain way, and you have to make sure you say things in the stream that correspond to your title, descriptions, in your tags. If there is a filter, there is a what do you call it? A formula. Mm-hmm. And I spent like a whole 2 to 3 months, and I got my analytical information to finally start kicking in. Here's a good one. Add the word "not porn" to your key terms.
Not porn?
Not porn. You're not porn. Add the word "not porn" to your key terms, and you will see up to 5 to 25% increase on your impressions alone.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. Now you got to just make sure you say it once or twice during your stream. And hey, guys, that's why my tagline for Nerdrotica is when geeking out is a turn on, it's not porn, it's Nerdrotica. So I went a step further and made sure that I had a slogan for it. And I just didn't try to put the word porn somewhere. You know what I mean? Not hashtag, not porn. And I swear to God, not only me, but another friend of mine, TWTG Content, saw it over 20% impression increase. Matter of fact, TWTG Content just showed me recently. He was so happy he saw this. YouTube gave him a special tag on top of his analytics that said that he's been doing so well that even the algorithm has noticed he's been doing so well. Over 450% views on old videos, not new videos, old videos. So there is a method to the madness, and I'm saying we got to pull through this. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we're not on public platforms. We're on publishers, and we have to we really got to pull together. Let's talk about community and sticking together and whatnot. This is, we really got to do that because nothing travels faster than word of mouth. Okay. When you tell somebody that you found a channel that is awesome, that's, that sticks up to what you want and says what, is entertaining and holds to their morals and whatnot, spread the word about a YouTube channel that you're proud of watching. Because that in itself, nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. No matter how much you algorithm, unless you get lucky and get shot out by some channel that has 1 million subscribers, nothing is better than word of mouth.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. It's networking. It's basic networking, and nothing takes the place of networking. I mean, Absolutely. that's how thrash was born, was networking. And those guys didn't get played on radio for the longest time. Then they sold out and changed their sound, which was really sad.
God, people selling out, and YouTube sold out too, as far as I'm concerned.
As soon as they sold to Google, they sold out, but we're really seeing the fruits of it now.
Yeah.
Here Susan Wojcicki talks about more about her free speech award. I've just seen the real benefits that freedom of speech has, as well as representing people of all different backgrounds and all different perspectives. And the freedoms that we have, we really can't take for granted, she said. We really have to make sure we're protecting them in every way possible. I feel, because of my family history, a deep connection to those freedoms. Very thankful for the freedoms that I have. So that's her defense of free speech. There's a but, though. There's a but. Yeah, and the but is The CEO also discussed the platform balancing people's right to free speech with protecting the community from harmful content.
Harmful content. Harmful fucking content. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly the butt. You definitely goosed her on that one.
Mm-hmm. And the harmful content is, drumroll, whatever the fuck she says it is.
Exactly. So, wait, I'm sorry. How does their terms and conditions put it? By our discretion, subject to change without notice.
You want to keep using our platform, gotta, we want to be able to have as diverse and open a platform as possible and represent as many views on the platform as possible on the platform. But we also need to make sure there are limits, she said. Since the beginning of YouTube, we've had community guidelines. True.
How do you limit freedom?
But weren't the community guidelines just like, don't be an asshole? Don't show death, don't show something illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even make response videos. Remember response videos?
Yeah, response videos were awesome until they forgot how to make them functional.
Yeah.
But you can't say like what's illegal, right? Because what's illegal in this country isn't in another.
Well, I was talking about like murder and burglary and that kind of stuff.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're right. I mean, but even, okay, as much as I'm against that, how do you regulate something like that? The only way to regulate that is to let the users regulate that. You cannot I don't give a shit how much money you have, sweetheart. I don't care who the hell you have, resources you have. You cannot regulate even the kindest of the, even that scope. You cannot regulate that. It's impossible. The only way to regulate that is to allow the people to regulate that. Let us regulate that. Let us mark the video as this, that, and the other.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, if you're on Twitter, you've got the block button, you've got the mute button.
No. Twitter doesn't have a block button. Twitter has a censor button. Fuck that block. That is not a block button. If I block you, that shouldn't stop you from being able to comment on what I say. That's what the Twitter block button does. It is a censor button. So who talks shit about you can still talk shit about you, and you don't have a say because you get denied from that thread. And other people, that block button allows ignorance to be spread, because now that person who was doing wrong on you is getting a whole list of people watching that don't get your side of the story. Because you're blocked. You're censored from the thread completely. That block button is bullshit. It is not a block button. If I want to block you from seeing you, then it should only block you from me seeing you. Not from anybody else who wants to hear your point of view on what I'm saying about you or about whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that pisses me. And I know I'm not the only one out there, guys. And Elihu, there's a few others who's gotten blocked. And you know what that block button does. That is a fucked up. Twitter needs to change that. That is bullshit. That you're talking about freaking straight up a censor button that denies you and hurts the users that get blocked. Yeah. That block button reminds me of the episode of Black Mirror. Remember White Christmas? Did you see White Christmas at the end when they used to block people out, and if you were blocked, you couldn't. It was like augmented reality, where if someone blocked you, you couldn't see them. I wouldn't be able to see your face. Like you would just be a static image. Okay. And then at the end of the movie, the guy gets blocked from everybody. And everybody who looks at this person just sees a static film, and everybody he's looking at is you literally are in a world by yourself. That's what the Twitter block button does.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but it makes sense. Boy, it's been a while since I've seen that episode. That was a great episode. I forgot the name.
It was.
That's what it was called. Yeah.
White Christmas. Yep.
Christmas. I'm going to watch
Very
that.
good episode.
Watch that again.
They had some very interesting episodes that touched home to base that we're seeing right now. White Christmas is one of them. Now, not the whole in your mind crap that the person in an egg, just forget that part. Just the blocking part is what I'm talking about. But remember the episode with the shit, I don't remember the name, but it was the social media episode.
Oh yeah, nosedive.
Where it used to go around, it was nosedive. Yes. That's happening right now.
That's the new social credit system. That's what's being rolled out.
And a true public platform would finally put that to rest if we actually had it. It would blow that away. Cancel culture. The only reason why we have cancel culture, changed my mind. I love that. Thank you, Crowder, for opening my mind to that statement. Changed my mind. Cancel culture is the side effect of that we don't have freedom of speech right now. Because the only people speaking are those of cancel culture. If we had true freedom of speech at our fingertips, where you had faith in the platform, right now nobody has faith in the platform. People like you and me and Captain Trek, the ones standing on the edge of the precipice, taking the edge to stand ahead. Not the average Joe is doing that, right? They don't have faith in the platform. They know that if they say something, not a million people are going to see it. So they're not doing it. All we're getting are like that lady today who said tanning is blackface. That people like that are the ones who are getting the attention because they're the ones using the platforms. But if we actually had a platform where everybody had faith, where you knew if you could shut that lady down in a heartbeat, you would click that button and do it or say something or whatever, she would be shut down faster than shit. But because that doesn't happen, voices like that have depth, have impact, and can cause the cancel culture that we're looking at. Now I know the whole tanning blackface isn't exactly the greatest example. But let's say if someone says something the wrong way, or you know, like Gina Carano, what happened to Gina Carano, right? Mm-hmm. Now she had a huge fan. If it wasn't for the fan people that she had backing her, that could have ended up completely different.
Absolutely.
But the average Joe like me doesn't have that kind of backing. If something happens to me and I say something upside down or whatever, or is taken upside down, I would be completely squished. She survived because she had a community that uses social media to back her up. But for the average person who doesn't have that in today's corporate media, corporate social media publishing platforms, we would get completely canceled in a heartbeat. And we've seen it happen a million times before.
Yeah.
Thank you, Master of Truth.
Yeah. If you're just your average person, there was a nurse that got fired, and nurses have a very strong union because of a social media post. She got, just dogpiled by these SJWs and homeless groups. And here's the interesting thing. It's pretty. There was a lot of talk about paid trolls and all this stuff on one side, which turned out to really not be true. But there certainly are paid trolls on the left side, and they're usually pretty easy to identify, because they either work for a nonprofit or they have a job that you can't tell how they make their money, usually a consultant. And if you click on the company, you'll see that the consulting firm usually works for, drum roll, a lot of nonprofits. So they're very easy to find.
No. So we had a baseball player. What was that guy? Yeah, I know if you say his name, I'm going to remember right now, but
Pete
my
Rose?
brain cells are... Was it Pete Rose who lost his AIG life insurance over a social media post?
Oh no, Pete Rose was the gambling guy. Never mind.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there was a famous baseball player who lost his health insurance, his life insurance, over a social media post, but because he didn't have the backers, because he wasn't like a Star Wars actor, You know what I mean? Like that, you have to be an effing Star Wars actor to have the kind of backup you need to survive cancel culture. Okay. He was a baseball player, said one thing wrong and lost his fucking life insurance. I know for you young bucks out there, it doesn't sound like much, but when you turn 40, life insurance takes a whole nother meaning. And 40 is young. And that's what it's coming down to. You don't think it's going to stop there? It's going to get to the point where the manager of your grocery store knows who you are because of your social media. This goes back to that whole that show I was talking about, Nosedive, where somebody notices you out of the blue, and they can be anybody. Somebody walking down the street, your car salesman, your grocery store manager, your life insurance, whatever, your doctor. Can drop you in a heartbeat. And yes, and don't forget, guys, in America, you have the right to refuse service to anybody for any reason. Okay. You can get dropped. You can go get a subway and the guy tells you to get the hell out. You can go get your groceries and pick up diapers for your kids and get told to get the hell out because of a comment you made, or not even a comment that you made, that you thumbs up somebody.
Yeah.
On Twitter, you can see what I thumbs up. If I thumb up something you don't like, then you can nail me to the wall. Guilty by association, which seems to be growing rapid right now. How many of you guys in chat have gotten to an argument or gotten a Twitter response or gotten into any kind of altercation just over liking something?
Ooh. It hasn't happened. Well,
keeping my blood flowing tonight, aren't you?
I had a social media. I had a couple of social media blowups. So they're on Facebook, but yeah, man, when that happened, when the offending post was, so there's two of them. One of them was shortly after. It was when Barack Obama gave his farewell address. I said it looked like a Hitler rally, and people didn't like that. People on a certain side of the aisle did not like that being compared to Nazis. Imagine that. And so I got death threats for 2 days. They found my cell phone number and all that stuff. That was a lot of fun. And then like a year or two later, one of those people I was talking about that you do have no idea how this guy makes his money. And just like none of it added up. None of it made any sense. He was supposed to be a brand. What do they call those? He was managing your personal brand, your online brand. And I was like, how does this guy make his money? Because he was talking about like women doing bake sales and that kind of shit. And he only had like less than a few dozen views. And this guy's living in like in a $600,000 house. I'm like, how does this guy make his money? And so, he posted something, I'm on the bike trail. There's debris. There's pollution. What do we do about the homeless? And so I posted, I was like half drunk. It was 11:30 at night. It was right before I went to bed. I was like, anybody got a match and some gasoline? And then I went to bed, and that was the offending post. Dude, that thread got to be like 1,000 comments long. People were digging into all of my shit. Homeless rights advocates were calling me up from blocked numbers and non-blocked numbers. I was getting calls from all over the country, all hours of the day and night. Fuck you, motherfucker. Nope. Fucking racist. And I had like people calling me inbred and all this weird shit. People were photoshopping my head on the tips of dicks, and people were photoshopping Donald Trump hair on me.
I beat them to it. That's why I went on streams a bunch of time looking like a vibrator. I beat them to it. I used to be like all purple and pink and whatever. And but I'm getting that right now. Matter of fact, I don't know if you know, but I was subject to a cancel culture fellow channel you might have heard of. Actually, a couple of them played the cancel culture role on my ass, and I'm fighting it. And I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting tweets. I couldn't believe it. I can't, and the fact that it's all based on lies. It's not even something I said. I didn't even like do that. Like I didn't just like, No offense. I didn't get like, wasted, or, I didn't say anything offensive. I was just being me, helping somebody. And another channel wanted to make me look like an absolute ass and decided to spread lies about me. And the people who don't know me took his word over mine, even though I got all the receipts. Even having the receipts doesn't fucking matter. Even having the proof doesn't matter. Okay. What happened to the glove not fitting? That doesn't even make sense. And I'm like I said, I'm feeling it right now. Now, luckily, it's only from the community, that the sub community of these channels that I would expect it from, the troll community. And you don't know how close you are to the troll community. You're closer than you think, guys. Trust me. The people who know me, my subscribers, they did not leave me. They all gave me overwhelming emails and messages. I couldn't believe it. How many people said, "Don't worry, LD, and what you did was good. You didn't do anything wrong." But the outcrying of this troll community that's hitting me right now might be hitting me hard right now. I know it's going to blow over. I know how to protect myself as far as the phone calls I'm getting. I'm taking care of those phone calls and doing what I need to do and everything. But it's just a pain in the ass that we have to go through this. And this is what this goes back to what I was telling you. This is why the average person doesn't want to deal with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it takes like people like us to have a channel. That's why when people talk about certain like YouTube, like I don't blame YouTube channels that there are people out there, and I'm not going to name any names, okay, guys, but we know some YouTube channels that get the brunt of this stuff and they can't take it. Okay. I don't blame them. They have breakdowns. They change their channels, change their names, express that they're going to leave YouTube altogether. You know what I mean? It's not easy because it's all around. And I don't blame the average person for not wanting to do this, right? They say YouTube is a welcoming place. And when I first came to YouTube a year ago, it was overwhelmingly a welcoming place. When I first came on, even the people who I've changed my mind about since then, a lot of people, for the most part, welcomed me with open arms. I did what I could, did my channel, tried to provide something for the community to enjoy, et cetera, et cetera. But then sooner or later, I found out how dirty this game is. And it's bad enough having to fight the platform you're on, but then finding out that there are other channels and other communities out there that just want to burn your ass to the ground. It's bad enough to fight the platform you're on, to be fighting the other people who are on the fucking platform.
I hear you, man. Absolutely.
And the platform is where it all happens. This is what pisses me off, why we need a true public forum, because if I was truly in charge of my channel, like this isn't Wes Moody's channel. He just lives here. Okay? Stated in the terms and conditions.
Conspiracy Guys channel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Conspiracy Guys channel. Okay. He just lives here. Okay. It's not our channel technically. And all the stuff that happens to us is because the platform itself doesn't have anything for us. This is the way the platform, YouTube actually makes money off cancel culture. They benefit off of this. And it's a joke. LDG, you're backstage. Oh, someone trying to get in the backstage. Sorry, I just saw that.
Yep, got a couple of people. Well said, my friend. I think this is a good time to go ahead and wrap. You've got people backstage. 3 hours, man. This has been great. This has been one of my favorite live streams ever. YouTube cannot keep us down, whether it's here or somewhere else. We'll continue. So let's go ahead.
May I say, Wes, real quick, I just want to say this because I heard this the other day and I didn't get a chance to say this in chat. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Your background does not look like a salon parlor.
That's author Stephen Walton. Yeah.
I like it. I personally like it. It gives me an orientalish kind of Eastern feel to it. I love it. Beats mine.
All right. Well, thank you. Yes. I've started to get a little weirded out by it. I still need to do some adjustments on it, but Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I just I'm always changing. I need more space, and hopefully I'll have some soon. Let's see. God, I've got such a long list of channels. I'm trying to post everything. Go ahead and post a link to your channels in the private.
Sure.
Where are you at? I thought I had you on this list.
I did the name
there somewhere.
rebranding, so it's LDG of Geeks and Joy. That's primary right now.
Gotcha.
I still have Geeks and Joy Nerdrotica, but you know what happened? I used to go to other channels and they'd like giggle or have an issue trying to say my full name. Like it was a bad thing saying the word Nerdrotica. So I'm like, okay, let me try to meet you guys halfway. And we're just gonna go Geeks and Joy. We still enjoy Nerdrotica, but
Nice. Let's see here.
let me put in here.
I thought I had you on that list already.
Well, I'm going to give you two. First one I'm going to give you is the one that I'm trying. Whoop.
Not
There
by
we
me,
go.
Shellback. Not by me.
Sorry, I got them loud in my ear here. This is my backstage. So one of the things I do is the backstage pass, guys. It's the best online stream that happens offline. It's community chat, right? We can have up to 20 people hanging out. You don't have to be on YouTube by yourself. It's just an offline community chat room. You can come in. You don't have to be on camera. You don't even have to be on mic. We got people who come in and just type in a private chat. You get to hear, check out, we hang out. If you have a computer issue, it's the best way to get a hold of me. But for the most part, what we do is we all just do our own thing, whether we're working, whether we're talking, whether we're watching a movie or watching a live stream or doing whatever. It's just think of it like an offline chat room. But if you want to talk or show your camera, you're more than welcome to. It's open 24/7. You never know who you'll find in there. You can pop in whenever you want, guys.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and plug our channels here, starting with, wait, was that a channel plug? I'm tired. I don't know.
That was my that was my offline community chat. My actual channel is called LDG of Geeks and Joy, guys. Here to help you with your computer issues. Here's the link to that, Wes, in private chat. Here to help the community. Whether you have computer issues, I do free tech support. Guys, PC problems, Mac problems, anything you guys want, just hit me up. Software, I do video, audio, the whole 9 yards, websites. But I also host a few streams like the Waiting Room, where we do open panels, open topics, open watch parties, open rants. Let you know who's streaming, who's going to stream, who has streamed, promoting those who deserve it, and really just having community fun, guys. And appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me tonight, Wes. Had an awesome show tonight. Did enjoy myself very much. Thank you, chat.
Thanks. All right. And Captain Trek, go ahead and plug your channel, my friend.
Yes, sir. I do have a stream that goes on every day, 6 a.m. Central, called Morning Brew. I'm starting to do videos as well as live streams.
Absolutely. Love Morning Brew. It's a great show. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you check it out. And if you think you're subscribed, make sure that you're subscribed, because YouTube, whatever.
I was unsubscribed from several channels recently, including this one.
Yeah,
So
I'm not surprised. I think I think even I was unsubscribed from this channel, and it's like, it's my channel. Well, it's Conspiracy Guy's channel, but me and Conspiracy Guy are almost like never in the same place at the same time, but we are at the same time at the same place in the same time, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Perfect sense.
I thought so. Awesome. So thank you, the best chat on YouTube. We love you. Wow, I was not expecting to have the kind of viewership that we had tonight on the Conspiracy channel, but I sure am glad that you guys showed up. And thanks to Culture Casino, LDG Pixels, and also Captain Trek for being the best panel on YouTube. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed this discussion. I love having brilliant people on. So with that, thanks for hanging, and we will see ya.